no heads. We have no heads. Yeah, that time ago, like a month or two ago, and it just sat there doing that, and all of a sudden, it just started working at like 3:59 my time.
Maybe they do an update or something on their end.
Who knows? Zuckerberg hates us. Yes? I don't think it's OBS's fault. I think there's something up with Facebook.
Yeah, usually OBS is pretty solid.
The same shit's happening to me and Steve, at different ends of the whole different ends of the country. Advanced settings. What the fuck is that? Yeah, persistent key. Yeah, fine. Server URL. Settings.
One thing is, I'm looking here, you're clearing your cache. Are we?
Oh, are we?
Nice.
Share it to Babblegab.
Yeah, share it to Babblegab. We'll let our friends know and jump. Let me find Babblegab.
Awesome. Well done.
You got 100 followers on your account?
Well, maybe
how
Facebook,
come you didn't do it under Babblegab account?
Maybe.
Oh, it should be on your.
We got to work in one. Let's go with that. That's good, Steve. Maybe the YouTube is lying to me.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time.
Making me work hard. I don't like that.
I can't see.
All right.
Hey, subscribe to everybody under the sun, and then let's see. There's a little one there. Dearly departed. This that.
We need a link. We doing?
I don't know.
Putt's a ghost.
Ooh.
A
ghost on YouTube?
You go and subscribe. Live now. Would you thank you? A notification would have been nice. I shouldn't have to.
Tony's got it working.
And then we got two of them. Okay, great. Okay, and there's even a top chat. His friends call him TC. And on Facebook, not Facebook, but YouTube, always share the copy link rather than the top of the page thing, because that's ugly and shitty.
Anyway, sorry, folks. We've had some technical errors, and we're trying to get started here. Anyway.
I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, there we go.
I don't know what I'm doing.
I'm just going to post the friggin' you.
Normally, we would do this in the Babblegab YouTube channel.
But Steve can't find it.
It's on your... All you have to do is switch users, Steve.
No worries.
Are we live? Are we live? Are we live?
Apparently.
Okay. Hey, guys. If you can hear me out there, I just wanted to report that this is the Babblegab show, and we're having some technical difficulties. But we're talking about our childhood homes, I guess. And
are we?
I don't know.
That was your thing. That's what you wanted to do. And I thought, okay, let's do it. And then
I was drunk
you
at
had
the
a whole
time.
plan. Oh, see,
well,
that's
okay.
that's San Francisco there about 6 years before I was born.
I think it would be a good thing to talk about.
Okay,
So
well, we got to let our people know where we are. We normally do this on on Wastebook, and we had to move to ScrewTube because of a technical issue. So I'm waiting for a link. Do we have a link on our Babblegab page?
Yeah, I shared to that. And I'm sharing it to every damn thing I can think of. And the problem, and the other thing that I love about Windows is that every notification in the known universe has to come in the bottom right corner.
Yeah, I hate that.
So everything has to be on top of everything else. God.
Sometimes I just want to turn up the volume on my headset, but I got 40 notifications there that are just like saying, up yours, guess what? There something happened. Somebody saw a bee, governor got new shoes, whatever the hell, man licks cow's butt, sword forged in dragon's ass.
Well, let me let some people know where we are.
Let me see. I've already shared it to Babblegab. I've shared it to a wrong channel. Off of my lawn, which everybody forgot about, but it's theirs.
Oh, sheesh. What you do?
And thanks also to Steve for getting Lady Marmalade in my freaking head. No, that wasn't you. Or was it you? Yeah. See that?
Had to be because I don't even know the song.
That disco bullshit.
Oh, fuck that. So anyway, I wonder if YouTube's going to pull this one down.
No.
Oh, there's no such thing as monkeypox except with okay. That would be.
I actually watched that episode and found out what it was. No. Steve put on an MA-esque star symbol, K, and said, and then we started talking about MAS apostrophe Ks, and that led to a little bit more of a conversation about how such things don't W asterisk ORK, and that was it. They pulled our video down for that.
Oh, Lord.
I don't need the notifications anymore, Mr. Stupid. Thank you. Thank you for the notification. Thank you, Mr. Stupid. But please turn off the bubble.
Yeah, right.
This is the.
Hi, Lisa.
Hey, Lisa. This is this is our frustration show right now.
And then nobody pressed dislike either.
Wasn't there a song called Frustrated Incorporated?
Probably.
What was that?
That's Rice Aroni, the San Francisco treat. Back when San Francisco was a beautiful town and actually fairly right wing.
Now poop is a San Francisco treat.
Yeah, that's just poop.
On the sidewalk.
Poop. Yes.
Yeah, Salty said he got off a bus or train or whatever in San Francisco, and when you get out, that's all you smell.
Is what? Poop?
Yep.
Yeah. That's all I smell when I.
Lisa had to retract her message. I don't know what's going on.
Why did you retract your message, Lisa? I didn't know you could. If only life was that simple, we say something bad and just retract it.
Is she commenting on Facebook or on YouTube?
YouTube. Bloob. Flibbly.
Steve said hi, Lisa, and she said okay. Oh, I don't know. Maybe it was a glitch. All she said was, "Hi, everybody." It's not really. It's not that scandalous.
Could be controversial.
Yeah. Well, it is controversial, but it's not that. That thing behind me is like 10 feet tall now.
Oh, that cactus thingamajig?
No, the pampas grass behind it. It's kind of hard to. It's hard to see. You can see a little bit of it.
I wonder if that wasn't just one big old road that it was just too steep, and so they decided to put little.
Now you can see it.
Yay!
What for Face album book?
Well, it's poor.
So, Apology None, I've now got it. It's on Odyssey, ODYSCE.
Right.
.com, and you can find the Apology None channel there. And I've got most of the good stuff up, and Saturdalia is all one thing now instead of 4 parts.
Oh, good.
And it doesn't have hardly any hits, but see, last week they made a huge update. I got some servers or something, so now it runs just as smooth, if not smoother than YouTube. It's like no lags. Because before I haven't promoted it because you'd start it and just nothing would happen. But now it's fixed. I've run the movie a few times, but I don't want to run it too many times because that'll make it look like it's got a bunch of views and no likes. Some people don't realize that. They get bots and stuff so their videos have, hundreds of thousands of hits. But if there's no conversations or comments or likes, then it just makes it look like a crappy video.
Yeah, it does. When I was first making, when I first made that show, that video, Fuck Snow, F-U-C-K, so, it started getting, the hits started rolling in, and I got some offer from like the Philippines. They said, "Oh, we'll get you 1,000 hits for $10 or something," and that's all they were. I mean, they were just nothing hits. You know what I mean? No conversation, no nothing. They just stacked up. That's just so it was stupid. But all my other hits are legit on that because I don't advertise it. They all spec.
Hi, Lisa. Yeah, location change. We couldn't get OBS to connect to Facebook today. Yeah. So it's good to know we have a backup.
Oh, that's weird. Oh, okay.
You're not going to put a bunch of stuff on here, are you, Steve? Okay. I don't know if it's PAM Pissgrass. Yeah, Lisa. I don't know. I've heard it called. I don't know.
It's PAM Pompous or Wampus or some damn thing.
But yeah, because I used to call it Pampas, and then other people would call it Pompous.
Or Pampers.
Pamper grass. You don't want to wipe your butt with that because it's the sawgrass type. Yeah. It's not as bad as a stinging tree in Australia, but.
Or that damn tree with little spikes all over it. I had one of those at the University of Hawaii in Hilo. It had little spikes growing out of the entire tree, sharp as and like 2 or 3 inches long. The entire trunk, just every square inch.
That's horrible.
Yeah, it was I called it the mean tree.
The mean tree. The tree of woe.
So I'm putting chicken wire, the hex wire.
Chicken wire?
It's a hex. It's wire with hex shaped wires within it.
Mark, they haven't seen Blues Brothers, so when I say chicken wire, they don't know what I mean. There's some movies you have to watch just so you get the reference.
Blues Brothers is one of those movies you can always watch, and it's like if you're flipping around channels and Blues Brothers is on, you stop there and you watch the movie no matter where it's at.
So anyway, I'm putting it a few feet over my perimeter fence, so my grapevines will grow and give me some more privacy and sound barrier. It only really works in the summer. In the winter, it's going to be kind of bare again. But I don't spend a lot of time outside in the winter anyway. But enough of that. Yeah, I know you were joking about the spelling. I don't know. I didn't spell it. I just said it, and I don't know exactly how it's pronounced. So It's this big, tall, feathery grass. So anyway, let me get a beer because there's beer in the fridge.
There's beer in the fridge.
There's beer in the fridge. That's my heavy metal impersonation. You know, people you say, "Hey, you want me to see my heavy metal impersonation?" Sure. There's beer in the fridge.
Beer in the fridge.
Putt knows the reference. The taxi driver.
Yep.
I think I may have seen that once.
Yeah, he brings this woman home with him.
Yeah,
a pretty woman, and he kind of looks like Richard, Commander Richard. He looks like Darren.
Yeah,
but he's just being casual. He's just like, make yourself at home, and there's beer in the fridge. It's just the way he says it made us, made it a quotable moment. It means nothing. It's just that this,
the best quotes are that way. It's like,
yeah. All right, I'll be right back.
You see, the Blues Brothers went to this country bar to try to gin up some money, and the stage at the bar had chicken wire all the way around.
Yeah.
I remember that. They were throwing bottles at him and stuff.
Yeah. Theme from the TV show Rawhide. Bash. Thank you.
They got chased out of it. They're chasing after them in the parking lot or something.
Well, they got through the show and it was great, and the owners really liked it. And then they said to the Blues Brothers, "It's like, well, now you boys owe us like $500 for the beer, all the beer you drank." And Belushi's like, "Well, I thought beer for the band was like a complimentary." He goes, "Oh no, son, you drank up all this beer." And John says, "Okay, just a second, I'm gonna go out in the parking lot and get a collection from all the guys." And he goes out there and they fire up the Bluesmobile and the other cars and drive off. Yeah. And then the rednecks start chasing him. It's pretty cool.
Well, the band that was supposed to be playing showed up like 4 hours late.
Yeah.
And that was John Napier, he always plays, mean Southerners, except on Star Trek when he played a space hippie.
Yep. I thought you were going to say Sly and the Family Stone's the one that didn't show up that was supposed to. So there's an incident that happened shortly after I was born, the same summer, where they were playing it was really hot in Chicago and they were supposed to do a concert. And so what happened is evidently they didn't show up to the stage and cause a huge riot, and people overturned police cars and everything else. It became a big thing, and that hurt their reputation. But from what I understand, they were there and the police wouldn't let them on the stage because they thought it would cause a ruckus or something like that. And they kept pleading to get on the stage and they wouldn't let them. So, there are two sides to every story. I don't know who's.
So they thought they were afraid they were going to cause a ruckus. So in trying to prevent a ruckus, they created a ruckus.
Something like that. You have to read the article. Interesting thing about that band is there were like two white guys in basically it was kind of a blended band, and people were like, "You need to make it all black," and they were like, motherfucker, we want to have who we're going to have because I can go and get some bottom because some bottom is what I want. I'll be right back. All right.
What? Yeah. Oh my God.
I hated that. I'll be right back.
Who won?
I think it was the Four Swine.
Four Swine.
Oh, that's Lisa. You know that song is based on absolutely nothing, right? The night Chicago, the night nothing happened in Chicago by Paper Plates. That's Timmy's. But there was no. Al Capone did not shoot cops. He understood good PR. He actually had soup kitchens for homeless people in Chicago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Al Capone. Yeah, he was a hero to a lot of the people that.
He understood good PR.
Yeah, he didn't shoot cops.
Hell no.
And it's like one of the black jazz pianists. I can't remember who it was. One time they were having this huge party, and basically Al Capone and his men came up and said, "You're coming with us." And he said he went to there, and he didn't really have much of a choice. He goes, "I went to there and I started playing piano." And he goes, "This party went on for about 3 days." He goes, I put out a tip jar, and he goes, that thing filled so many times it was ridiculous. and then Capone paid him like $500 too, and for being there, even though he was like grabbed him and forced him to be there. But yeah, he goes, they treated me well.
Yay!
Yay! I got my video off for a second.
Uh-oh. Yeah, we need to get a picture.
I'm going to do something real quick. I just got to head. I need a little bit of privacy, as they say in England. I am going to go do that in the bathroom. But I don't like people watching me walk right now because it's.
Oh yeah, no, I hear you.
Yeah, I walk like a gimp. I'll be right back, fellas.
Oh, when my pain in the ass flares up, I walk like Groucho. I'm walking like Groucho. Yeah.
I'll talk about that thing.
Oh, good.
When Putt gets back.
Oh.
All right, talk about it now. I don't care.
Well, this is the city, San Francisco, California, and that's a Buick. That's about 6 years before I was born. Wonderful place. And to kind of compare and contrast, back then, everybody heard about when Douglas MacArthur was fired by President Harry Truman. And he came back he went back to San Francisco, threw him a ticker tape parade. Yeah.
Yeah, I always wanted to see it. I had postcard books and stuff of it. And when I was a little kid, but people would send me postcards of the bridges. And I loved it. And I wanted to see it so bad. And just never got to. My mom said I did before I was born, but that doesn't count much. Yeah. And then she said I got to fly in my grandpa's plane before I was born. I had more, his 46 Swift. So I had more excitement before I was born than I did in my whole life, probably.
Yeah. Well, it's like me. My DNA has been all around the world, and I got hats from everywhere. But I myself have never been anywhere.
Well, yeah, at least it got go. I had to make it happen. My job never did any of that crap. Yeah. But I finally made it. I'm glad I did, because it's now I probably have to get the if I had wanted to go somewhere. Yeah. Lisa said, when I worked in the nursing home as a high school aide, there was a man called Joel Tipton. It's kind of strange acting, but they all used to say that he was prosecuting attorney for Al Capone.
Oh yeah. Well, Los Angeles back in the 40s and 50s, they had Mickey Cohen. He was the mobster boss for Los Angeles, and he's kind of sort of featured a little bit in some movies, and some of the movies kind of refer to him up, like LA Confidential kind of referred to him a little bit. But one of Mickey Cohen's bodyguards was Warren Zevon's father.
Nice.
Yeah.
Lisa asks how you are, Steve. And she said, reminds me of the song "The Night Chicago." I hate that song, "Night Chicago."
Yeah, that's what started all this shit.
Oh, I must have been getting the beer.
No, with Gerald R. Ford and George H.W. Bush and.
Did you talk when I was gone? Did you talk about how they wanted the mayor to give them like the golden key to the city? That one. Yeah, it's like their manager, Paper Lace, wanted like the Chicago mayor to give them this big fanfare because of their song, and he basically told them to fuck off.
Yeah, the Chicago mayor, that was Rizzo, right?
Oh, I don't know. It had to have been 1970 something, yeah. early 70s.
I think it was Rizzo. Rizzo, the picture a guy. He's mayor of Chicago. He makes me look like the Dalai Lama. Yeah.
Don't insult Beetlejuice like that. I really think that letting the devil in and taking God out of your life makes people physically repulsive, because it their soul gets there, and their mentality is just hate. and lying and evil, and it goes out through their skin and through their muscles, and that's why you see so many just angry people. You know what I'm saying, don't you? Don't you know what I'm saying? If you knew what I'm saying, you'd say, yeah, I know what you're saying, but you're not saying you know what I'm saying. So I don't think you know what I'm saying. You dig? Well, you nod your head.
No,
yes.
that's nodding. That's not shaking. Damn it. You go, yeah, that's shaking your. I've had people only about like in the last 15 years, people say, oh, you're shaking, you're nodding, you're shaking your head. Yes. No, that's called nodding.
I had a Babblegab moment where Steve disappeared, and Tony said, "What happened?" I said, "What happened to Steve?" And Steve said, "I had to itch." And Tony says, "You mean you had to scratch?" And I had one of the biggest laughs I ever had. And Tony just got this straight face, no giggles at all, and I couldn't stop laughing.
Well, I'm just very old fashioned, when I see I see somebody write, a dollar figure with the dollar sign at the back of the number instead of the front. That drives me up the wall. I used to think it was like foreign people who just didn't know any better. Damn.
Speaking of dollar figures, so I'm reading this big Holy Bible, a big Catholic 4 or 5 inch Bible, big one, and with the pictures and stuff, and it's like every several chapters, I don't know, maybe every 100 or so pages, my mom had stuck in a $2 bill. So let's get these little surprises, these little $2 bills.
Nice.
Yeah. It's just kind of a nice little touch. And the front page is not inscribed by Nick, her boyfriend. I talked to you, Lisa, about him. And it's faded now. I can't really read it anymore. But it was a whole page, the front of the Bible. And I'm like, oh, did Nick give you this? He inscribed it. She's like, no, he just did that on his own. It pissed me off. It's not his Bible. It kind of tells you kind of about the guy. He was a politician, He was like the head of the Environmental Health Association. And he's the one I told you about. I went to take him to see the Naked Gun.
That was the one thing I liked about the James Bond movie Quantum of Solace, which I didn't really like that much because had no variation. It was just all one speed, full blast. But the bad guy was like a non-governmental organization, like some big philanthropist.
It's cool.
Yeah, and those guys are all crooked as the day is long, right? Those guys who run all these
I feel
international charities and all that shit. They're bullshit.
I feel that way about Tomorrow Never Dies because the bad guy is one of those like CNN head guys, like the
right.
And that to me is one of my favorite Bond movies. I'm not a big Pierce Morgan fan, but he Brosnan. Sorry. Yeah, I picture Bond going up to some guy and not having a gun because he thinks it's bad. And he's like, "You're a stupid, stupid man." Anyway, I like how Bond humiliates the bad guy, like when he's doing his big rollout of his new TV network and it goes black. It's almost like Goldfinger golfing, how he humiliates him. I love that stuff.
Yeah. Well, the guy, and I forget what his name was, Carver was his name, I guess. He was supposedly based on Robert Maxwell. Now, who's Robert Maxwell? He was a big newspaper guy in England. And his daughter, Ghislaine Maxwell, was Jeffrey Epstein's main squeeze.
Oh, I knew that name sounded familiar when you said that. She's the one that had that trial recently that just kind of went nowhere, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And they wouldn't even release anybody off the flight list or anything.
Yeah.
I tell you what.
I mean, that's a real life James Bond villain right there.
That is. That's corruption.
We don't have any real life James Bonds.
We don't. That's the problem. We have super villains, but no superheroes.
Yeah.
Well, we got one name. His name rhymes with John Praying Mantis.
John Praying Mantis
rhymes with it. You got to be careful what we say on YouTube. And that suck. I mean, we're really in an Orwellian.
Well, we could just get Steve to quit saying the N word. I think we'll be fine.
Nantucket.
That's it, man.
I'm not sure even heard Tim's talking about. Spell it out, Tim, with like asterisks and stuff.
GOVERNERFLORADA.
Right. Yes.
Flora Duo Owie.
I understand.
Lisa doesn't like that Pierce Morgan fella. Not a lot of us do. But he's like one of those what do you call it? Like politically incorrect guy. He's like the broken clock where he's right once in a while. Or he'll say the right thing. You know who I saw an interview with? Oh, Pierce had an interview I watched the other day of I never think of his name now. He's the oldest one of the Brat Pack.
Oh,
Robert Downey Jr.?
No, boxer.
Oh, yeah. Ugly. I mean, not ugly. It was formerly a really good looking dude. And his name.
Oh, yeah. Mickey Rourke.
Mickey Rourke. So he had a big interview with him. His face is straightened out again.
Oh, good.
So now he just kind of looks like an old Mickey Rourke. He does.
He's a good actor too. Go ahead, Tim. I'm sorry.
No, it was a good interview. He was pretty candid about his screw ups and stuff. I don't know. Go ahead, Putt. Oh.
He's a very good actor. I saw him in a movie with that kid from Terminator, Edward Furlong. About they were in prison together and they shared a cell. And basically, his cellmate was like this very effeminate, like trans guy, but he couldn't get hormones or anything. So just like an effeminate man who painted his nails and all that and did lipstick. And he talked like yes, honey, yes, sugar plum and all that kind of thing. He talked to Edward Furlong like that. And he was tough. I mean, he had big muscles. And I'm sitting there watching it. And I just didn't think it was some actor. And Jen's got this magic power where she can tell any actor anywhere. I don't care what they got on, makeup, whatever. She goes, "You know who that is, don't you?" I said, "No, who?" She goes, "Mickey Rourke." I said, "There's no way that's Mickey Rourke." I mean, they didn't have appliances on him or nothing. I said, it was the way he was acting and carrying himself. And it was just, sure enough, it was Mickey Rourke. He's doing a damn good job in that. He was the only good thing in that movie. Edward Furlong threw his career away, but he was the kid in Terminator, Terminator 2.
Oh, yeah. Do you know, as a child actor is typical. Lisa said Thomas Paine, who he dares not offend, cannot be honest. Yeah.
Well, the thing with child actors, I think they see enough of Hollywood and they think, you know what, I'm just going to do something else.
Yeah.
That's what happened to Charlie Bucket on the Willy Wonka. That was like the only acting gig he ever had. And he was kind of embarrassed by it and just he said that wasn't what he wanted. And he became a veterinarian.
So he's actually doing good things instead of just being a...
Yeah. Those kids that actually leave, realize that would be the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
It would be cool to not be stuck in that hell, but it would also be cool to know that you did something like that or that you had this kind of notoriety and something cool to look back on. So speaking of which, I saw an interview this morning, a long, like an hour interview of Tony Tennille. It had to be from a couple of years ago because she was still talking about Daryl Dragon being alive, but it was after the divorce. So she, all through their marriage, she says he never belly laughed once their entire marriage and he never cried. He was just like, that was it. She basically, they stuck with the marriage to appease the fans, basically, because they always thought they were a thing. And those pictures of those album covers where she's got like her finger in his ear, she's all giving him sweet nothings and he's just looking at the camera like he's dead, was just his real personality. And she never could get through to him.
Was he on any kind of like?
No, she said it was like he came from a troubled family and it was just, I think it was a personality disorder.
Because nowadays there's all kinds of, medications they give people and you end up just being a zombie, no highs or lows, and it's just flat.
Yeah, that's basically how he was all his life or their whole time. And so, of course, she divorced him eventually in like 2014, right when we wanted her to be in Saturdalia. And But she stayed on good terms. She said they talked on the phone once a week.
Who is this again, Kim?
Tony Tennille, Captain Tennille.
Captain Tennille,
yeah. She so she called him up and says, I'm writing a memoir. I'm writing a book with a friend. And, I want to talk about us and things, she was wondering how he was going to react. And he says, go ahead. You're, do what you're going to do. You're a straight shooter. So I know you'll do it, justice. He's just kind of daring. Putt would have got that, but he's not paying attention. So
I'm sorry. I'm going
to. That was for you, Putt. Never mind.
Yes, it was Darren. Yeah, the Captain and Tennille. Captain had a very similar personality to Darren.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That's not an insult, Darren, if you're watching this, which we know you don't. But
yeah.
Well, but she said that he's a musical genius. He's the one that did all the arranging and producing on Love Will Keep Us Together and made it magical. And he respected her as a songwriter and arranger too. And, because she did that, do that to me one more time. Because the guy interviewed said, do it to me. She's like, it's not do it, it's do that to me one more time.
Yeah.
She said, that's one of the reasons people, take it out of context. And she says, if you listen to the lyrics, it's talking about kissing and saying the right thing.
Yep.
She was kidding, but she wasn't really mad. But
okay. Because I always do that. It's like, don't pull your love out of me, baby, or whatever.
Yeah.
Don't pull your love out of me, baby.
A woman can't sing that song.
So let me tell you about the thing I was going to tell you about.
Oh, good. That thing.
Yeah, I've been waiting to hear about the thing.
It's not a big deal. I was emotional about it Thursday and Friday mostly. So as you know, I hated Colorado. I hated it. And when we got word that my mom's company got bought out, we were going to move to Jackson, Mississippi. I'm like, great. I just went out of this place. And the furthest east I'd ever been was really Kansas City. Or Springfield, Missouri was it. So, and then it changed to Jacksonville, Florida a couple of weeks later. That's where we're going to move. I'm like, even better. And at first we were going to move to a place with a dirt road that was going to be very near the beach, which sounded neat. And then it changed to a kind of a brick ranch house in like a Charlie Brown neighborhood, which is where we ended up living. And so we lived there for about 2.5 years. And it was really special because it was my first taste of Florida. And my memories, it was just so aquatic. The house wasn't, but we had boogie boards. My mom and I went to the beach every weekend and took the dogs sometimes. And it was just, we went to St. Augustine and the boat anchors. And it was just, it was a special time. So I lived in Jacksonville another 15 years after I moved out of there. And I don't think I went back to the place once. I just didn't think about it because, and then I think it was just the last few years started getting sentimental about the memories of moving there or living there. And that's where I discovered the Moody Blues was there. And that's where I went to Sandalwood, which sucked, but it was still an interesting time in my life. And it was better than Colorado. And so my Scion got a recall. They've been sending me notifications for years that they replaced the valve springs. So finally, I decided to do it. I have to go all the way to Jacksonville. Well, it turns out the dealer is right across from the road that goes to my childhood home. So when I picked up they had the car over a week. They didn't know what they were doing. So I picked up the car and I went down this winding road, Mindanao, that goes to and it's full of these mid-century houses, just all over the place, cinder block houses and stuff. And it just bring back memories. It's like, well, that's right after graduation. I had a fender bender right here. And, just all these memories. Witch Haven. That's the street I go down to go up our court. I forgot about that. And I just wanted to drive by the house for the first time in, 32, 33 years. And I drove by the house and there's a van parked right in the middle of the yard with the door open. They're renovating it, like flipping the house. I'm like, crap. Well, I went up there. I'm like, hello. And so there's a guy working there, looked like Dr. Smith, the contractor guy who's doing all the work. And I said, I lived here over 30 years ago, and I just saw that it was open. He's like, oh, yeah, come on in. So I got my phone and just started recording, and I was going to, they're making it, doing what they do, slumlords do. They paint all the walls gray and put in gray laminate flooring.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're ruining it, but it's still, the living room and dining room area just looked small, like they put in a new wall, but it wasn't. It was just different. But everything else hadn't really changed at all. And, except the flooring and that kind of stuff. But so I went all through the rooms and talked to him quite a bit. He was showing me how to replace ballasts and windows. Real nice guy. Went out in the backyard, and I just went all around the house. Could you imagine? What are the chances that the house was open when I was just, and
serendipity, baby.
But I was also on my lunch break at work, and it takes 45 minutes to get to Jacksonville. So, I couldn't stay all day. And my regret was, when I went home, I looked at my phone footage and it was sucked because it was all kind of zoomed in. The phone doesn't have a very good panoramic view, and it was kind of blurry. And I'm like, I'm surprised I didn't just sit down where my bed was and think about the first time I listened to the Moody Blues, or where our Christmas tree was, and think my mom and dad were both here in the house at the same time, and we played Pictionary right here, or my dogs who were like angels, Cato and Lucky, how they lived here. I didn't think about that stuff that was really emotional, and I should have, but I was just in such kind of a hurry because I knew I needed to get back, and I didn't want to just hover around there all day, but it was neat. And so after that, my next stop was Gary's house, my drummer of Treble Clef. He said he had a fire in his man cave, and I went to his man cave. So I went to his house for the first time ever, and he took me out to the backyard and was showing me this charcoal pit that he had that's gone. And he starts telling me all these little things about what he did with the coals and all this, and very detailed. And I put him in the trash can here, and I'm like, what are you telling me? Oh. And I looked above, and his house, that whole side looked like a cuckoo clock. It was all just burnt to a crisp, the side of his house outside. So what he's trying to tell me is what happened. And him and his wife went to her anniversary to a restaurant, and the neighbor called, said their house is on fire. Their doors are locked and their dog's inside. And they didn't have a key anywhere for anybody. And fortunately, he was like a window expert. He was able to remove the pane of the window without breaking it and got the dog out. And the fire department couldn't get in because the car only had one key and she had it. So it's like everything that could go wrong went wrong. But the fire damage was just to the exterior, and his ceiling in his man cave was about half the ceiling was caved in. The fire department did that. But other than that, the house wasn't full of smoke. I mean, he lucked out.
Yeah.
But that was kind of another special thing, just seeing that. And
cool.
Gary. So I went home, and I had this glow for about 2 days. That house just set me off with this wonderful glow that I got to see the old place and walk through it again. It was like seeing an old friend. It's like, see me, house? Look at my hair. Look, I'm not skinny anymore like I was. I didn't talk to it like that. But I did look in the mirror in the bathroom and like, oh, this is how I am now compared to that geek that used to be here. Like now I'm just a different geek. But I don't know. It was really, really special. It was a special moment in my life. I'm so glad that things happened when they did. And also when I was at Gary's, I noticed that the Toyota dealer had put something on the hood of my car and scratched it up. It looked like little tic-tac-toes all over the hood.
Shit.
So so I couldn't stay at Gary's long. I'm like, I'm going to have to go to the dealer. And I went to like case agent there and told him, and he said, do you have a couple hours or do you want to go? I'm like, I'm guessing I'm going to wait. So I waited there and didn't take long at all. And he came back with a car. He buffed it out himself.
Oh, okay. Good thing you caught it before you drove all the way home.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Well, they take pictures of it before. He took pictures as soon as they got it. So I could have proved. And plus, I'm sure I've got dash cam footage of whatever they're doing. But it didn't have to come to that. He buffed it out. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's not really noticeable anymore. So I'm okay with it. It's better than I don't. Neither one of us wanted a bunch of drama. But I didn't want to bring my car to the dealer anyway because they never know what they're doing. They always screw things up. I'm just glad they didn't say, "Oh, you need a new the transmission look like it's." They didn't do that on me at least.
Yeah, your transmission shot. We need everything.
Oh, we got
it's not Sears. It's not Sears Auto Center anymore.
Mm-hmm. Putt's in chat.
I'm in chat. I was talking to Lisa and Steve.
Thanks, Lisa. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, it wasn't world shattering, but it was something that meant a lot to me.
That's good. Glad you had a good childhood.
I think of.
It wasn't good.
Well,
have you been listening to any of this?
I listened to
the visiting the home is good. The car getting fucked up is not good.
Yeah.
He says, "I'm glad you had a good childhood," and I'm like, the whole point of it was moving to Colorado was the best thing that happened to me, and I was almost graduated school by then because I hated Colorado so much, and my childhood there sucked. People have had it worse. There are kids that eat paint chips with lead in it and stuff.
Yeah. Well,
Well, yeah, I would have loved to have stayed in Kansas City, but guess what? My parents broke up and we had to move to fucking Colorado.
Well, the same thing. I mean, look behind me. That's our little house. As one of those deals where it's a modest little house on an absolutely gorgeous lot, because that's a canyon, and the view
cool.
from that deck was just.
Oh yeah, you've had other pictures up where you can see from the porch there.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, you said something about somebody breaking the porch once, or you and your dad had to fix the whole porch.
No, he built it. It didn't have it.
That's what it was. He built the whole porch. Yeah,
and he was like my age, like in his 50s.
Okay,
because he was 54 when I was born, and he bought that house.
Oh wow,
a couple of years before I was born.
But that's the Apology Nun house where the porch falls, and we have to fix the
right. Because when he bought it, it was just that that concrete thing over on that side. It's funny because it's concrete block first floor, and then regular stick built on the second. And for two-story houses, usually the bedrooms were on top. This one, the living room was on top, and the bedrooms were on the bottom. Probably to take advantage of that view.
That's how I originally designed the Apology Nun house, but because I didn't actually show people going upstairs to the rooms in the films and stuff, I redesigned it for this one and put things proper where the rooms are upstairs. It took me a while to figure out the floor plan for that. It was complex. I guess I'm not an architect, am I?
It's tough to make it all work properly because you got to figure all the plumbing and all that other horse shit. Because you don't want to have 15 sewer lines going through the house.
Well, this is a cartoon world, so it's a little different.
It still has to it has to make sense in universe somehow.
Well, I mean, it does in a way. You saw my remodel; looks pretty good.
Yeah,
I can't wait to get to it.
You look good. Yep, definitely. Well, I don't have any good memories. I shouldn't say any good memories. I don't have any nostalgia for any of the places I lived as a child. And I had my parents weren't the nicest people. My mom, I think, was certifiably crazy, and my dad was kind of he liked to beat on me a lot. And so I look at different places. I mean, the closest I came is I looked up our house in Alaska from Google Earth, and it's changed. I don't think it's there anymore. I think they just rebuilt something there. But yeah, it was not. I was glad the day I moved out. I was so glad. But even after that, even to this day, sometimes I have nightmares about them. My parents. And one of the strangest. I mean, some bad ones too. Like one of the strange ones I had was my dad came up out of a ditch. And he didn't have any skin on. This is right after he died, and he started wrestling with me and fighting with me. And I tried to pick him up and throw him back in the grave to get rid of him. And then my typical dream about them is we're arguing like we always used to do. And then I realize I can leave. I can go get an apartment. I can get out on my own, and I do it. Or, something like that, just, there are always bad dreams about them. And it's just, I'm not trying to vent or get therapy here, but you talk about the nostalgia. And the only childhood home I think I liked was the one we had in Alaska. And part of that was because of the freedom I had living on an Air Force base, is I could just leave. I mean, if I felt like it, I could go all over the Air Force base, and that backed up to the woods, and I could go into the woods and stuff like that. And my friends and I do that all day long, and ride our bikes or whatever, and enjoy it that way. And or do whatever we were going to do, whatever mischief, throw rocks at hornets' nests, or just try to fake somebody into eating leaves that they shouldn't, or I don't remember, okay, but actually there are blackberries and things that you could eat, and strawberries, but that was about it. I mean, it was not a pleasant thing, and I don't like the fact that, I'm getting the therapy's helped. I have a lot less of those dreams now, but there was a point where I was having them all the time, and I was taking therapy with this woman, and she pointed that out. She, you still having the dreams? I said, oh, not as much. And she's like, well, see, this is a step, doing that. But yeah, they're both dead now, and it was.
But it's still hard to get over all that.
It is hard to get over. I did love, I cried when my dad died, and then I cried a lot when my dad died, even though he was really mean to me. But he also could show a loving side. And then when my mom died, I did cry some. But by the time my mom died, she didn't have dad around to protect her. Dad died first. And I remember there was a party, and my sister comes up to me, and we look at each other in the face, and we just both say at the same time, Mom's crazy. And we knew Mom was crazy. Just the way she'd behaved through the years. And she ended up, in a mental facility, and she died in there. And the last time I saw her was with Jennifer, and I went, and they had her folding baby clothes. She liked doing that. And then what was really sad was my friend Hannah. You've seen some of my Mark Putt explosion pictures where I've got, like that dancing girl with me in the silver costume, or the elf costume. That's Hannah. That was my, Dana Kane. That's Dana Kane's daughter. Okay. And Hannah was part of my act. And, of course I was dating Dana and living with Dana, and Hannah OD'd, and Hannah and my mom died the same week, and we ended up having the funerals on the same day. So that was a bittersweet. Not even bittersweet. Nothing about it. It was bad. I felt like I've been, hit by Mike Tyson, for those things, but we got through it, and it's just, it's strange to see perspective on how different, when I was a child, see different people treated their kids. I remember one time Mr. Jimenez from Central, the drama teacher, he was there, and there was a little kid, and he was talking real sweet to the little kid, and pulled him up on his ladder and was talking to him. I said, I don't know who that kid is. Must be his, some kid he's babysitting, or his nephew or something. And then I couldn't find out that was his son. And it's like, well, that's great, but you see, we didn't do that kind of affection in my family. And it was just a weird growing up thing. And it was, Dad didn't like the hobbies I liked. And so that made me lesser, I think, in his eyes, and I remember just my mom telling me a couple things that she like, she goes, I was never sure if your dad wanted you. And I'm like, oh my God. And then a while later, not the same day, but at some point later, she said, oh, Dad feels bad about all the stuff he used to do to you. And I was like, well, he needs to be man up and tell me to my face, and we can talk about it, and I would be kind. I'd be loving to him, all of that. I'm not going to be mean, but she said that. So it was just, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to bring the show down, but that's what happened. That's what it was like growing up for me. And yeah, one of my happiest days was the day I got in my first apartment, and it was a ground floor apartment in a real bad neighborhood. And I laid down in that bed, and I slept like I had never slept before. I was so glad to be on my own, and just to be in that place, being by myself, felt safe. So that was what the quick story of my life. But go ahead, Tim.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, but I didn't realize that you had an unhappy. I knew you lived in a lot of places. That sucks. Sorry to hear that.
It's, I survived it, and maybe it made me a lot of who I am. But yeah, Dad was very physically abusive and verbally abusive, and then my mom was just a nut. Just very strange. And I thought she was normal, but she was born here in Georgia, where I'm at. But yeah, I never really talked about it at school or anything like that. School was an escape for me. Being with you guys, Darren and you, and all Goschak and the other friends, all of that was an escape from, that's where I felt good. So I didn't want to taint it, with that kind of stuff. And so I'd go and, I love that. I loved going to school. I love getting out of the house. I love I loved, anything like that I could do where it was fun, or whatever, acceptance, I guess. So yeah, it was bad. I mean, I'm not can't say it wasn't. And, it is what it is. I mean, I'm not a mass murderer. I'm not anything bad, evil like that. I never will be, and I think I'm a fairly good, well-adjusted person for the most part. So I'll give them credit for that. They did prepare me for life, but some memories they cut deep. And I'll end the Mark Putt story there. They cut deep. The end. Finn. F-I-N.
Well, they had you live in Aurora, so you don't have to explain anything more than that. So has anybody told Gottschalk that we've moved today?
Well, I posted 2,000 times. Yeah.
I mean, anyone said privately? Because he might not have seen the link.
Let me go see if I can snatch him.
Yeah.
Ba-ba-ba.
$30
you're old. Wow!
I was going to say
Whoa.
Wow, shithead. It's like this is.
I love that reaction.
May 26th? May 26th? Same day for me, but 78. So
who wasn't even born then?
Well, yeah.
Oh yeah, well, I know. Just trying to make it worse.
I know. But
it reminds me of something I'll never forget from Married with Children. When Al, I don't know where he was, but there's a receptionist, cute blonde receptionist, and he's in there and he's trying to woo her by saying, I was, quarterback back in so-and-so high school, and I was a star quarterback in 1969 season, blah, blah, blah. And she goes, 1969? I wasn't even born yet. I'll just never forget that. She sounded like Marsha Brady.
Well, that's funny. The Steely Dan song, Hey 19. That came out in 1980. That was when I was 19. But I'd actually heard of Aretha Franklin. Yeah.
I heard when she lost weight, they called her narrow urethra. Urethra.
My narrow urethra.
Swollen urethra.
Hey, dude.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Does Gottschalk still click the regular link that we have?
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah, because remember, that's Zoom. Well, not the regular.
Can you get them on Messenger?
Yeah, I'm talking to him now.
Yeah, the link that's in the Facebook chat that I sent to you guys, that's a good link. That doesn't change.
Okay, I'll pop that back up.
Okay.
Let me give that to Wendy. She's been trying to get in and she says something's wrong. So let me try. You put it in our so anyway.
So that's the house as remodeled. But it's still actually built on the bones of the same house.
Wow.
Yeah, it doesn't look like the same place, man.
Yeah, they totally. It kind of looked like a strip mall. It's kind of weird. Yeah, post remodeling.
So,
send Gottschalk a link. We'll see if he responds.
Yeah, but I don't think it was like that when Tony lived there.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. Maybe my words don't work, but
I would have played Illuminati in that house.
I still would have played Spaceship, even if the house looked like that. Steve and I'd be throwing Steve off.
Oh yeah, I tried running a Hot Wheels track from the porch down to the ground, but I could never get the car would always like throw off halfway down.
Well, the problem with that is you're all the way up there and the car goes whiz, and then you got to go down and backtrack, and it takes 5 minutes to get the car back. So why you said that? My step mother, her side of the family, her mom and pop were these old farmers, and they had this old farmhouse, probably from the 1800s. They had like 2 service porches on it, and we used to go there in the summer sometimes. And then my dad and his wife ended up making an underground house behind them, and that's where they moved. So, just for shits and giggles, I was on Google Earth a few months ago and decided to see that old place. And the underground house was still, that was rude. I'm just right in the middle of the I'm just talking to myself. Let me talk to my tail.
My phone went off.
I got somebody asking how to get on or get to the show. So I'm going to see if this works.
Okay. But anyway, I looked at the Google Earth for the farmhouse, and all it was a hole with a fire in it, and like a bulldozer next to the hole.
Uh-huh.
You can actually see the fire from Google Earth. I'm like, wow.
Oh my Lord.
That house has changed.
Well, that's a picture. One of the pictures they posted when they put that house up for sale.
Oh man.
Oh, and I did find that my childhood home, because my pictures sucked, but I looked on Zillow and it had been up for sale before, and I found better pictures of it than I.
That's exactly where this picture came from, Zillow.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, if you ever look it up, it's just a house. It's nothing special. The ceiling in the middle is vaulted a little bit. It's just a house. But it's special to me because of that time in my life. Because it probably was, other than maybe when I was 5, before everything fell apart, it was probably the happiest time of my life.
See, that's the view. It was kind of sad that they got rid of the porch that my dad built, but they sort of enclosed it and glassed.
I was going to say it probably rotted away, but that's California. Things don't rot away like they do.
Yeah, it takes a long time. You really have to let something go.
Boy, here I bought thousands of dollars worth of perimeter fencing, and Captain can just bob his head through and break the boards because they're just nothing now.
Yeah.
Hate it, but I think that, I don't know, it's a moisture. It just ruins everything.
What's funny is Zillow, I get like an email, about houses that I have like saved. And this one, our old childhood house, is now supposedly worth $5.6 million.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah, because that's Santa Clara County, California. That's now Silicon Valley. Back then, there was none of that. It happened, but it became.
You think that's bad? The home I just talked about on Sandalwood, it's probably going for like $150,000 now, maybe toward $200,000. I wanted to make a non-joke, anticlimactic joke to your joke.
You're good at those things, and I applaud you.
I put in Gottschalk's. Put the link in there. I'm doing Gottschalk's linking in. For some reason, Messenger out of Facebook doesn't work for me. I have to use the Messenger app.
Yeah, the Messenger app actually.
Well, technically, he just needs the Zoom link, right?
Yeah,
he doesn't need all that other horseshit. Just the Zoom thing. But
what are you going to get,
Jennifer?
Somebody
was complaining about that before. That I put the link, and they said they clicked on it, didn't work. I don't know if that was Gottschalk or if that was. It could have been your other.
It was Howard.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks ago, he tried to get on it. He was going to talk about Chiller Fest. So Sid and Marty Krofft had their first ever fest, and it seemed like it was pretty neat. They had Sid there, and they had Butch Patrick, and what was the other kid from there? Oh, Peter Brady was there.
I forget their.
Even though he wasn't a Krofft, but it was still pretty cool. Yeah, and they had a lot. All the Krofft people were there, and Caroline Ellis zoomed in because she lives in England, I guess. So they got to pick. She was Joy Bugaloo.
I never got to see the Bugaloos.
I think IQ Bugaloo might have been there. I just became Facebook friends with him, but I don't think he posts much. He was the one that Terry Summer was modeled after, the green Bugaloo with the blonde hair.
Yeah, I don't know what. I think I've seen like 3 minutes of a clip from that show once. That's all I've ever seen.
It's a fun show, and Martha Ray played their arch nemesis. And
the one chick Bugaloo, She's got like a baby face and very grown up legs.
She's the one that looked like Kiana, but
okay, time out. God Shock just messaged me. He's in the ER. They're checking his heart for an aneurysm.
Oh, jeez.
So we got to send love and light and prayers to Mark. So I'm going to talk back to him here. And
prayers to you, Mark. Hope everything's going to be okay. Let us know.
Charlie, I'm praying for him. Me too.
Man, we're a bunch, aren't we?
I know, it never ends.
Damn it. What the hell's wrong with us?
I know, right?
Yeah.
That's okay. I made a good Babblegab moment. We need those.
There you go. Yeah, and I thought I had my phone muted, but it went off. And there's some bill collectors, all that shit. They love me. You're not getting a damn dime. Go to hell. Yes, it.
Yeah.
Yep, 44 for me. Shit.
I don't even know for me.
40 years since what?
I flunked out in.
It's been 40 years since you graduated high school?
44.
Oh, we just did this.
I know.
Tony, call him a shithead.
Rules of graduation. Yeah, I got my diploma. I got my. We all had matching Hawaiian shirts on, and I jump in the rabbit and I make a lap of the football field in the rabbit.
Yeah, I remember when I
track around the football field. So I did.
I don't remember my graduate. Yeah.
That's weird.
They wouldn't let us throw our hats in the air. They
don't know our life, man. I don't even remember my graduation.
We didn't even wear hats.
My last day of school, I remember leaving and just peeling out in the grass and leaving this big rooster tail of grass and dirt behind the car. Yeah. And it wasn't really intentional. It just happened. I wasn't hurry to get out there. And but I do remember the last class was marine biology. And my teacher, she was just up and down saying that if any of us left class early or ditched, that she would make sure we didn't graduate. And I'm just like, what kind of pull does she have? But I didn't. I stayed the whole class. This is like, it's one more class, And my dad and I, a week or two later, went to pick up my diplomas. Guess who was handing out the diplomas? My marine biology teacher. So that would have been awkward. She's like, nope, I don't have one for you.
Well, of course, that was because you had the whole Casey Kasem bit too.
Mm-hmm.
Graduating high school because of the whole story. Yeah.
Wouldn't it be funny if Casey, if he was like Dr. Phil?
What does it say? Don't be Polish.
No, it was the 60s, man. So anyway, wouldn't it be funny if Casey Kasem was like Dr. Phil or one of those and just adds things? So Steve, that he's reading your thing. But then I when I graduated, my pants fell down and I wasn't wearing underwear and pooped myself. And I really wished I'd have just stayed dropped out because that wasn't the only thing that dropped out. Speaking of dropouts, here's Wham.
Polish. Yeah. Why does it say Polish?
Well, what are you looking at? It says foolish.
Don't be Polish.
It says foolish.
Oh, foolish.
This is like a Goofus and Gallant type shit that they're showing.
They're all Goofus. Every damn one of them.
Yeah, this is like Jackass 1931.
See, there was no such thing as safety back then. We were on your own.
Yep. Sure were.
He's Polish too. Look at that.
We were a lot tougher back then too. We didn't need seat belts. the parents didn't care what we did.
Yeah.
They let us out of the house and just, if we came back, we came back. If we didn't, we didn't. It was just a different world.
Sometimes they forget to count, when they
we didn't wear bike helmets, and we jump shit all the time on our bikes. Excuse my language. Just those are something I could jump and or drive through.
Lisa said that you're a good person, but she must not be paying attention.
Yeah.
No, she has been. That's very sweet, Lisa. That's very sweet of you. But I'm wanted in many counties and many states. Yep.
Yeah.
You know what was interesting? What we would do in school, and it was pretty popular. I don't care if you were a jock or a nerd or whatever. If a movie came out and one of the people one of the kids saw the movie, then like everybody would surround him, and we'd tell the movie. We talk about the movie, like go from A to Z in the movie. And I can't believe how good our memories were. Like one guy got to see The Exorcist. His name was Andy. He was a good friend of mine. And so we used to sit around Andy when he first saw it, and he'd tell us all through tell us the entire movie, and we'd listen to him, had him do that a couple of times. Or if Alien came out, they'd tell us, whatever movie it was, we'd have when it wasn't every day, of course, but, once a month or so, whenever a new movie came out, we'd have the whole powwow around the person that saw the movie, because we didn't have that stuff like we do now, where you can just grab that movie and see it.
That's true. I mean,
yeah.
So Tony,
yeah, we didn't care. I mean, spoilers we didn't even know that term. We didn't care. We wanted to hear the whole movie.
So when was the first time somebody realized, when a kid gets hit by a car, you don't just pick up his body or pick him up like that and drag him around. You kind of wait for the paramedics.
Man, I picked up on that too.
It's not like the car was on fire or something. It's just like, it was behind Tony. A little boy got hit by a car, and everybody's surrounding it.
Grab and start tossing him around like a rag doll.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was till the 80s.
It's good for him. It's good for him.
Yeah.
Kids were tougher back then. 6 killed, 2 killed.
Yeah.
They've got legs.
They're pushing traffic safety in an era before there was anything. You even had signals, let alone anything. Safety.
Put the skull and crossbones on the front of the car.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's what they did there.
It's kind of scary now you think about it, isn't it?
They hadn't been invented yet, Steve. They didn't have those.
Guard your life. There we go. Okay, trigger warning. I'm going to use some foul language here. Do you know how you do CPR in New York? The guy's laying on the ground. Hey, get up before you fucking die. It's New York CPR.
Probably just.
So pardon my language. Pardon my language there.
Probably just as effective anyway.
Yeah.
All right, I need to quit watching the movie. I need to do the show.
Yeah.
My favorite's the Walnuts, the Waldens.
Yeah.
When they're like, "Good night, Sarah. Good night. Good night, Grandpa. Good night. Good night, John. I'm like, shut the fuck up and go to sleep." I think they called it jerking off back then.
I don't remember.
They didn't start calling it masturbate till like the 80s, I think. I'll be right back. No, that's Japanese.
You're jacking off. The Russian jacking off.
You know, the Enterprise was not in Chicago, and they wouldn't call him the Jagoff. Lieutenant Jagoff.
Yeah, the Enterprise is, they screwed up in the movies. Kirk was from Iowa, but the Enterprise wasn't built there. The Enterprise was built above Mars in the Utopia Planitia shipyards. That's where it was. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. In Star Trek lore or whatever, there's a start base on Mars that has a ground part and a sky part where they build starships. It's called Utopia Planitia.
Yep. Because you couldn't get that thing out of the gravity well.
No, you couldn't. Launching a thing like that would fall apart. I mean, it would just, you're not going to just fly the Enterprise. It's like that. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's just, Well, it could do that, but they were, they had impulse and all that.
Remember when they had the Gary 7?
Yeah, Gary 7.
Because they were starting to get a little bit into the atmosphere and had that fighter plane chasing them.
Yep. Yeah, that was that guy was going to, and even Spock said if he, one of their nuclear missiles could severely damage us.
Yeah.
That wasn't the Gary 7. That was the Return to Tomorrow or something like that.
Oh, the other one when they went back to the past.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, the Gary 7 was supposed to be a pilot for another series.
Right. Yeah, because they want. Yeah, I think it got in the way of the harpoon.
Yeah,
that was interesting. The cloaking device worked visually as well as everything else.
Yeah, that was a pretty big bird of prey. I mean, it was the smallest size, but it was, they just use that model a lot. That's all.
Yeah, it was like the little the Pinto version of the Klingon.
Yep. Yep. I'd be pissed off. So I'd be so mad. So just build the damn model and blow it up. A new one.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, if you want to do another round, let me know. We can do that.
Yeah, there's that.
You know what I should do, Steve, is I don't have to do it right away, but start working on storyboard for you. Right. Yeah. You got to do it, and I've done comic books for my whole life, so it's not going to be that hard for me. There's a lot of things I don't have to worry about on a storyboard that I have to worry about on a comic book. So that is a big difference. Yeah.
Oh, cheese it with the Star Trek talk. Timmy's back.
Essentially, and it can change, of course. Essentially, but it's basically you've got a visual guide to what you're trying to do, and it also helps you set some of the pacing. It also helps you organize some of the scenes. And then there's I'm a real big fan of Will Eisner. Will Eisner wrote books on visual storytelling. So what I want is that when I do a storyboard, and hopefully we do this as film, the goal in my mind, whether it's a comic book or a movie storyboard, is you can tell the story without a single word. Now that's not easy. Of course, we're going to have dialogue, but visually, that's how smooth I want it to work. You understand that? Yeah. I mean, now the director or the cinematographer don't have to stick with that completely, but I'm just saying, you get that down, we can actually look at it and say, okay, let's move this scene over here. This feels clunky, maybe a little bit. We're going to have to do something here. Make notes on it. It's a way to start getting your hands wet. Does that make sense?
Feet wet, hands dirty.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, did you see Lisa's comment? Says the sound keeps going in and out.
On Steve, yeah.
Oh, just Steve?
Uh-huh. Yeah. Take my glasses off.
She's just saying the sound is wigging out for seconds at a time, or is that my computer? Can hear Putt, but Steve, I can't. Can hear Tony too. Yeah, well, Steve's got the OBS. Remember, Tony, when you weren't being heard?
Yeah, because you don't hear yourself on Zoom. So you have to have your mic also sending it straight to the YouTube.
So can you tell Steve what you did to remedy you? Because he might not have been through here the whole time. Have you heard?
Lisa's not saying that. Lisa, are you saying that you haven't been able to hear Steve the whole 3 hours we've been on the air? The world may never know. Okay. Steve is intently gazing down at something.
Yes, I got an update from Gottschalk, guys. Hang on.
Right.
That take an hour. Okay. Yeah, you got to make sure you have your own microphone in OBS also picking up. So you should have on the audio mixer, you should have two lines. You have one, which is everything else, and then one, your own microphone.
Lisa says no, just recently. So you have heard Steve. Okay. Well, that's good because we had a couple of funny moments from earlier on.
Yeah, it was good. Okay, I just got an update from Gottschalk. He's in a lot of pain, so we need, get the prayers out there. So we need that for him. He needs us. He needs that. He says one of the most agonizing experiences he's had, and he's a tough guy. So, let's just keep him in mind and keep that going for him. We got to ask him if there's anything we can do. But this is sad. I don't want anything bad to happen to him.
Yeah.
It'll break my fucking heart. I'm serious. Yeah. So, pardon my language, but I'm sorry.
No,
I don't want to lose us. I don't mean to be selfish. I don't want to lose a son and a best friend all in the same year within a few months.
No, I hear you.
Well, he's getting help. So
yeah.
Yeah, that's the main thing. Just like your case, but having somebody around who knew what the fuck was going on, so you could help right away. I mean, if it would have been me, I'd be fucking nursing it for a week, just dragging my one side of my body around. All right, it'll clear up.
Testing 1, 2, 3, 4.
That's what I was doing. I can hear you, Steve. That's what I was doing. Jennifer finally got sick of it.
Yeah,
and she was
because that's me all over. I could be fucking dying, and no, it's nothing. Don't worry.
Oh yeah. Last night I had a really severe dizzy spell. So sitting here in the chair, and she called the ambulance on them right away, and there was nothing wrong. They took blood pressure, blood sugar, all that stuff. I'm okay. And it started clearing up too. And I was like, they said, we don't need. It doesn't look like anything's happening, and it wasn't a stroke or anything. But they're like, we can take you in. And I said, no, I'm not going back to the hospital right now. I mean, I just can't. I've been in there for 3 fucking months. Pardon my language. I'm just.
Please so don't worry about that. We could use language here.
And I've been in the hospital for 3 months. I can't go back. I just got out, and I gotta, if it's my life, sure. But I mean, I gotta know that there's something wrong before I'm going back in that place like that. I just can't stand it. I just can't stand it anymore. Even the good hospital with my friends that are there now. I mean, it's still. You guys don't. I hope none of us others has to go through it. I hope Gottschalk they can fix him up and get him out of there. That's going to be the best thing for him. This is scary. So I'm sorry. I don't want to, I'm trying not to be a bummer here about that, but he's one of my best friends. If not my best friend. And I've known him since, we were kids, middle school before and all that. So anyway.
Well, that's me too. I mean, not as good a friend as you are to him, but Well, I prayed for him, and I'll pray again tonight.
Yeah, I will too. And try and get on those prayer chains and stuff if we can. I'll do that, and I'm gonna talk.
Yeah,
to
Lisa's been going through it too. She's had all this stuff.
Oh, man, Lisa. Okay. What's wrong with all of us, guys? What's wrong? Come on.
Yeah.
Let's get healthy. Let's not have this.
We're all in our 30s now, and our bodies start to degenerate.
I know. I just turned 22, and I feel like I'm an old man.
Well, the good thing is I just listened to the stream and I heard my voice. Yay!
Yay!
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Lisa said you were okay in the beginning.
Yeah, I don't know because my mic wasn't even selected, so I don't even know how it worked at the beginning.
Yeah, it's fun. I love technology. I deal with it every step. I love this. This is, you ever heard there was a British term? It's called the busman's holiday. The bus driver, he finally gets a vacation. So what does he do? He rides the bus. And so what do? I work 6 days a week at a TV station looking at screens. What do I do when I'm home? Looking at screens. I'm never not looking at screens. I want to get that little motorcycle just so I can fucking get away from screens for a couple hours.
You remember, I don't know if it was in the 60s Jetsons or the 80s Jetsons, because they were pretty similar. But I think George thought his job was so important. And then there was video of him doing his job, and all he did was just push a button all day, the same button over and over again. And that's so... it was very foretelling.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of what we do now, is just push a button all day. Or a lot of us do. I'm glad, though, because I paid my dues doing house improvements and just crap jobs and back-breaking jobs for a good 25 years of my working life. Was just crud, back-breaking, low-paying job. I've still got a low-paying job, but at least I'm not having to hoist bundles of shingles on my back going up a ladder and all that kind of crap.
Well, nowadays, just having a job where you don't have to commute is worth a lot of freaking money right there.
Yeah, I could have kept looking for a better paying job. But to me, it was just worth it just to sit on my butt.
Yeah.
You get up in the morning and make some coffee and turn on the computer and check my email and start going. Don't have to, don't have to shower and shave my butt and all that other stuff you got to do when you commute.
See, Steve's listening. You don't think he's listening?
But see, did you play a song one time? Remember the song that you played about a guy that had a bad hangover and was trying to drive to work?
No, I don't know. Was it a parody song or a comedy?
Yeah, it was I don't know if it was a parody, but it was just a funny song. Guy they went to a party and was having a bad hangover and was trying to drive to work, and it was really funny. I think it ended where he realized he didn't have any clothes on. It was cute. He was like a businessman.
I actually played something on my show that you laughed at?
Maybe it wasn't your show.
It could be.
Oh my Lord.
Oh, what was that thing? That was Firesign Theater. You played a thing, like a 20-minute comedy bit from Firesign Theater at the beginning of the show yesterday, and it was about. What was it about?
I can't remember. I used to think Firesign Theater was funny, and now more and more I'm listening, I'm like, they're not funny.
I was thinking about something you used to play that was never funny. Was that Funny Times?
Oh, that it used a piece of an ELO song, right? As the doodle-doo-doo. Remember that?
No, I just remember the guy wasn't funny at all.
The funny news thing I did. The Funny Times news.
He had a hard on for the governor of Michigan, I think.
No, he hated him.
Yeah,
Scott Walker. He kept talking to. The guy was obviously a leftist.
Oh yeah.
Well, he started out doing The Onion, and then he moved over to the Funny Times And I thought he was good, and I just went over to the Funny Times.
Yeah, it just probably is. The problem is they all end up just getting hung up on politicians.
Yeah.
That's what the Onion did. They used to be funny, and then all of a sudden they became. It was right when Bush got elected.
BBS,
second time, and it
was like
just,
Letterman. Letterman was funny, and then Bush came along and he stopped being funny.
Yep.
Because it was just too much. You're drilled in too much with it. Because Carson always kept everything kind of in balance. He'd always like poke fun all the way around. It wouldn't.
Well, Mad Magazine was like that.
Yeah.
They would have something. They would make fun of Republicans and Democrats in the same page, and then all of a sudden, when the guy that ran Mad Floofy in the turn of the 80s to the 90s, all of a sudden every thing had a picture of Rush Limbaugh looking like a blow-up fat blah blah blah. It was all that kind of stuff. And Josh had subscribed to Mad, and he got it. I looked at it. They had the plastic green army men. They had if the plastic green army men were innocent casualties of war.
Oh man!
Which that's not something my Mad would have done.
No.
The hang up I couldn't believe I had in the early days of the morning show was insisting on playing fucking Fox News. Why I did that, I have no clue.
I hated that, and then Allie used to do it, and I hated that because it's like I'm starting work, and I don't want to hear about a bus crash. I don't want to hear about that. I don't watch news for a reason, and I don't want to hear it. It doesn't concern me.
Well, at least we switched from news to the World in 5 to the list, and at least they were doing.
Yeah, where she'd talk about the most gory top 20 suicides and stuff, and it's got worse and worse.
Well,
when I would start work or whatever, when I worked from home, I would put on, I'd put on YouTube and listen to funny videos, like some of my favorite YouTubers, reaction videos and things like that. When I was, it cheers me up. It makes me happy. It makes me happy in the morning. When I was driving to work, I would put on the morning talk shows that were funny or interesting. You know what I mean? There were some that were kind of goofy. You know what I mean? They weren't the grim serious ones. They were the kind of wild man talk shows. Excuse me while I groom myself. I must look presentable. And as you know, I'm very vain. But I listened to that. I always wanted to feel good in the morning. You know what I mean? Get me charged up because I had to go sit in. I got to go sit in an office. But now that I work from home, well, we'll see what happens. It's different. Working with Dana is great because I can call her and she's sunshine and light all the time, and that's always good to talk to her in the morning. But not always. She gets down, of course, and we talk to each other. But it's you don't want. I don't want to hear about the grim, the grim shit, and all that kind of thing. And I try to avoid most of the stock market shit right now. That'll just make me sad. I got investments, and they're it's just they lost a lot of value.
401k has
201k.
Pisses me off. It really does.
I'm gonna have to wait till Trump gets back in to retire.
Yeah,
it's not too late. We might not have $1 by then.
I'm on the Vin Scully plan. Retired at 88.
Oh, are you?
See, you all should save up your Roth coins.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
There you go. Yeah.
No, I got a new lease on life. I was spared from this stroke for some reason. I'm gonna figure that out.
Oh, you have to be, Babblegab and stuff.
I gotta do Babblegab. That's right. And I told you guys. I think I told you guys this last week. I seconded Jack, and he goes, you're a micro celebrity in a niche market. I said, Jack, am I a celebrity? He goes, yeah, a micro celebrity in a niche market. Like, fine, I'm your dad. You should have told me I was the best in the world or something. No,
that's what kids are supposed to do. And then you now polish my what? Sandal.
Kids keep you honest, and you keep the kids honest. That's the best you can do. But no, that's two things that I indulge easily is my wife and my children. I spoil them, and that's not in a bad way.
No.
How is Jack?
Body
doing?
reduce.
What's Lisa asking?
Oh, Lisa's saying the body renews every 7 years. I missed the last 3 of those.
Yeah. Well, all I know is when I take
it just means that you don't have a single cell that you had 7 years ago is what it means. Doesn't mean you're getting better. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to bring everybody down.
No, I just know that every time I take enough damage, I eventually regenerate.
Yeah, there you go.
That's pretty good.
There's a whole new mark.
But then you got to come out of like a cocoon thing, and you're all.
I got to go make coffee. Be right back.
Yeah, and then my TARDIS never works right, you know. And
well, that was the thing when Pertwee was doing it. They didn't even have the money for the TARDIS. The TARDIS didn't even work. It was like broken the whole time.
Yeah,
Just had this weird old car.
exactly. Yeah, when Pertwee did, he drove around in that like model, whatever the heck it was. And
I think it was a made up car. It didn't look like anything real.
no, and it was everything took place on Earth. They didn't.
And he hung out with the mods. I guess he didn't like the rockers.
Yeah, really.
That's about it, Lisa. About watching TV. You're curious about what goes on in the world, but nothing you can do about it.
Well, not only that, but everything you watch on TV has got an agenda. They're
it does.
Pushing something.
That's why I don't watch. One of the reasons I don't watch TV at all.
That's probably why I only watch SpongeBob.
There you go. Well, even SpongeBob, they sneak in their humor there for the grown-ups who have to watch.
Yeah.
it.
Uh-huh.
Steve's fogged in there.
They put his dirty underwear on the lens again.
Just a fog rolled in.
My favorite cartoon, though, my favorite show overall right now, period, is Bob's Burgers. I love that show.
Heard about it, never seen it though.
Oh, it's fantastic. Yeah.
Family Guy and The Simpsons kind of scared me away from watching cartoons anymore.
Yeah, I don't like
South
Family Guy.
I don't like cartoons much at all anyway.
Yeah. Well, there's other things to watch, There's good documentaries out there. There's a lot of indie films. It's hard to find something that's
what about Apology Not? That's a cartoon.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, of course I love your cartoons. But I mean, like when
I love
my wife
effects. It's like
that wife I got, whatever her name is. We complain about this.
Track, dude. How many you got?
I don't know. I got one in the bedroom right now, and then I got another one, and then but anyway, we there's just no good movies, and we were complaining about that. It's like it takes you forever to find something good. Like we got a bunch of channels through the internet and the different like Peacock and HBO and all this, but to find anything worthwhile is hard, really damn hard. And that's kind of like we both kind of give up on it. So like whenever I'm watching TV at night, I'll find something maybe either I watched before or whatever, and just turn it on and let it go. Yeah. It's just hard to find a good damn good movie.
Well, good old archive.org. I mean, they've got. I'm finding like some like nice prints of old movies. I'm like this one.
Okay, cool. Oh, good. Yeah, I'll take a look. Well, those are the ones worth watching. They're the ones that got cinematography.
Oh,
if Steve was here, he should be watching these old movies and seeing how they do them.
Don't you just want to go babaloo, babaloo?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
That's not even Desi Arnaz, but he sees babaloo.
You ever called someone a boobaloo?
No.
Nope. I've called him a
thingamajig.
Yeah, call him a stupid head when I'm really mad at him.
My favorite is my cousin Jerry.
Uh-huh.
Who
that's a weird.
He passed away a few years ago, but he's this big guy. And I'll never forget this. My Jeannie, my bull mastiff, walked up to him and he said, if I didn't know better, I'd think you were a hoobly goobly.
Oh my gosh. Did you
I could never get that out of my head.
Did you punch him right in the mouth? I can't believe he called you that.
No, he called Jeannie that.
Jeannie, did she punch him right in the mouth?
No, and I told my cousins, I said, your dad, when he was over, he called Jeannie something that made me laugh, and I can't remember what he said. She goes, a hoobly goobly. I'm like, yeah, that's it.
That's some serious stuff. There have been riots that destroyed cities because people calling each other hoobly gooblies.
Well, you ever seen people that put like a concrete lion in the front of their house?
Yeah.
And one of them had 2 concrete lions, and they both had a paw up like this. So I'm walking by, and I see the lion, and I go like that.
Oh,
It'd be rude not to.
you dapped the lion? That's pretty cool.
Did they arrest you?
But it would be, the lion sitting there with his paw up, it would be rude not to.
You got a bro fisting. Yeah, it would be rude. The Chinese have the 2 lions, the 2 lion dogs.
Yeah.
And the basically the giant Pekingese. The male will have a ball, like a toy ball, under his paw. The female will have a puppy under her paw, and they sit on either side of the entrance of the place. And that's so. When you're watching something from Asia and you see that motif, you can tell them that way.
Steve put up a poll.
Okay, hang on. God's Shock update. Go ahead. Steve, I'll answer your poll as well.
Who's going to hate? Well, the funny thing is, I've seen more glamour shots of Elizabeth Montgomery, because they housewifed her up for the show a lot. But I've seen other stuff that she's in.
She seemed like a nice mom, but I thought she's cute in somebody's cute mom way, whereas Jeannie just was all around, I thought, cuter. But I mean, Elizabeth, we've gone through this before. Samantha's, she's hot. Don't get me wrong. But
the thing is, she's a lot hotter in pictures that are not related to the show.
Yeah.
I mean, you're right. They really housewifed.
I kind of got annoyed when the way she talks and that. Well, I just didn't.
Hang on. Time out. Okay, God's
How's it
Shock
going?
update. He's no aneurysm. CT scan shows no aneurysm, but he's still in pain. So he's safer than he was, but he's hurting, and so
they don't know what's actually causing it.
Yeah, we're not sure what's actually causing it. So they're going to be looking at him. But yeah, that is a bit of modicum of good news right now.
So what is an aneurysm?
It's when a vein, or like in this case, it's the aorta, which is the main artery leading out of your heart. It's when a vein or a blood vessel starts to get like a bubble in it, okay, like a balloon, and it can burst. That's what killed my dad.
Ooh.
It swells up and it's like, like a hose or something that gets a weak spot.
You ever seen on an old car, like a tire will suddenly get this red?
Yeah.
Yeah, the bubble. Yeah.
When I had my stroke, I was lucky. I didn't have. There's 2 kinds of strokes. There's ischemic stroke and hemorrhagic stroke. Mine was an ischemic stroke, which is a small blood clot. It just plugs up the hole, which we got to watch it and do blood thinners. And then there's the hemorrhagic stroke where the blood vessel just bursts. Now, that's a lot more dangerous because I could have bled to death, inside my brain.
Right.
But I did not bleed to death, praise the Lord. And that's that would have been an aneurysm in my head that could not have killed me. But yeah, that's what killed my dad, is a blood vessel in his head got ballooned out and burst and killed him instantly, pretty much.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, so God's Shock doesn't have one near his heart. They're going to be looking at him. I'm guessing if he's having heart pain, if he's stressed, it's going to be an infection of the lining around the heart, pericardial infection. I'm using my medical knowledge here. If that's painful, if he's really been stressed and tired, that's what it's going to be. The other thing is it could be just an actual blocked blood vessel. That could lead to
because you remember John Ritter.
Yeah.
The inner wall and the outer wall of the main aorta, I think it separate.
Yeah.
And nobody really knew what the hell it was.
Right. That's a rare thing. Yeah. So hopefully, he's under good care and it's a heart. So they're used to dealing with that. So it could be just a clogged blood vessel that's leading to maybe a partial heart attack or something like that. But they probably would have known by now. But I'm trying to think of what else it could be. It could be a congenital defect. It could have been. We all have what's called a stent in our heart. We all have holes in our heart. Everybody does. That when we were born with them. Maybe his hole got bigger or something, and is causing some pain and some problems. So, but my guess right now is pericarditis. So we'll see. But I'm not a doctor. I just play one on this YouTube channel.
You're going to get us banned. You get our video pulled.
Well, in spite of my degree in medical illustration and my experience as a police officer, as first responder, and trying to think of what else.
Well, you need one of those reflector things. You know, the ones that flip up.
Yeah.
On your forehead, then you flip it down. Yeah.
Yeah.
I never knew what the hell they were for, but the doctors always had them.
They made them look like Daleks. That's what they're for.
And what do you? Are there people called second responders?
No, that's the cops usually. And I pitched a fit whenever we were in the academy, and they were going to dump our first responder training because they said, "Oh, the ambulances will be there first." And I said, "You can't take that." I was like, we really can't take that chance. If we're there, we got to deal with it, and we're not just going to stand there, with our thumb on our ass waiting for an ambulance. And they allowed us to, I was kind of like, this is important, and that's because of my medical background. I'm not going to show up on a scene in somebody's and not have proper first responder training.
The first responder, if a kid gets hit by a car, the first thing you do is pull him up and start shaking him around.
Oh yeah, toss him like a fucking ragdoll.
That's like a ragdoll. You throw him on the lawn, and then you clean up.
But that was Jack Webb's thing. When he produced Emergency, because it was all brand new. The fireman.
Lisa's praying for God's Chuck too.
Good.
Hope he recovers soon.
Because the fireman paramedic was a brand new thing back when that show started.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's
because prior to that, it was like, oh, gee, that's too bad. And if it's a small town, they would call the ambulance, which was operated by the local undertaker because it doubled as the hearse.
Right. Did you know the coroner, the county coroner, is the highest law enforcement officer in that county? Whatever it is. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's strange, but they are the most highest ranking law enforcement officer. Now the coroners don't carry guns and badges and shit, but excuse my language, but they do carry. They're like above the sheriff.
Well, it's kind of like when I worked on the battleships. I was just a minimum wage almost laborer, but I had authority over all the high paid welders who were shipped in from Maine to work on the ship. Because because I was the fire watch, I had the water bottles, so I could tell them when to do lunch and everything.
Oh,
and of course, I wasn't a butthole, so I was pretty cool with the guys I worked with. But some of them didn't like that rule, but that's just how it was. They
can just deal with
somebody it. There has to be a chain of command, or everything goes to shit.
Right.
That was Next Generation with what's his name, Ronnie Cox. Who was the guy who took over for
Ronnie Cox.
Everybody hated him. I liked him because I knew exactly where he was coming from.
Captain Jellicoe,
yeah, because you have to come in and lay down the law. Because if you come in and let shit slide, it all goes to pot.
Yeah.
You can then, after you've come in and you established yourself, then you can kind of relax.
Right.
But you have to come in there like a ton of damn bricks.
Do you think Riker was being a butthead?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because otherwise he would not be able to command the people in the ship.
Right.
You got.
I'm taught in the hood, so don't even mess with me.
Yeah, and then you can kind of settle in and relax and tell Picard tell Riker to get his thumb out of his ass.
Yeah.
The sort of way was in the police department. If I got a call, like let's say there was a burglar. Like a holdup at a gas station, and the burglar took off, or the robber took off, and we had to, surround the area or whatever was going on, or somebody broke into something. If it was my sector, I was in command. Now you had a lot of other senior officers who thought that they were gonna, might try to do that, and you had to go in there and you had to be very deliberate, very decisive, tell them where to go and how to do it, almost to the point where it's like you sound like you're a sergeant, where you're so professional and you know how to close off the area, and that I had to do that, and a lot of these guys ranked me, but at that time I ranked them because it was my sector. But that was a long time ago. I was much younger. I was much younger when I was younger.
Oh yeah, I'm older than that. No, I'm younger than that now.
I was so much older.
I love that song, but it's bullshit. But I mean, it's first impression. They always say first impressions. But that's it. You establish it. You establish authority if you need to, and then from then on you could be easygoing and all that shit. But you gotta start. You gotta do it like that.
Who on earth voted for Ginger?
Ginger.
I don't know.
It was.
Because all of you have no taste when it comes to Jeannie and Samantha. I know that. But Ginger and Marianne, come on, that's unanimous all over the world. There's not even a debate about it.
Yeah. I clicked Marianne. I don't know who clicked Ginger.
Oh, I want to say hello to the lovely Nivea who's watching us. You can't see her, I guess, on YouTube, but she's watching the show and enjoying it.
Hey.
Hi, Nivea.
She's enjoying me specifically, doing
okay.
it.
Well, I can still say hi, can't I?
Yes, you may, of course.
No, you can't say anything. You just sit there and just drink your milk and lap your milk up.
Yeah.
Even though kitties actually shouldn't have milk.
Or tuna. They're
Tell
not supposed
them
to
that.
eat tuna fish.
Well, the tuna, the problem is just doesn't have enough fat. They need more fat.
Yeah, it's like rabbit. You can't eat rabbit, just rabbit.
I'll never
Well, they
forget.
call it
I had
rabbit
this.
starvation. They call it rabbit starvation.
Yep.
If you eat nothing but rabbits, you're going to die because there's not enough fat. Because
Right.
you need fat.
You
So
do.
there's this guy that I knew back in the '90s, and I won't mention his name, but
Herbie.
no, his name rhymed with Shaz.
His name was what? I had my headphones off.
I said his name rhymed with Shaz.
Oh,
And sometimes he was all right and a decent friend, and sometimes he was just a butthole. And his girlfriend was shacking up with him and had this baby, and they were feeding the baby skim milk. And I said, you shouldn't be feeding a baby skim milk. They need milk
No,
fat. They
they
need
need milk
vitamin
fat,
D
yeah.
milk. And he's like, no one needs fat. Blah 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 blah.
Oh, my
And the
Lord.
same
Die
guy.
without it. You die dead without fat. You will
I
die.
know, and then the same guy. I'm not. I'm kidding. I kid you not. Steve would say. No, I was telling him about my uncle had a Mitsubishi VCR,
Ah.
and he's like, Mitsubishi does not make VCRs. I studied to be a sensei in Japan for 6 months, and I'm just like, shut the fuck up.
who the hell cares?
So
They had
then
everything from fighter planes to cargo ships. What are you
I know the guy, and I would have to drive him all around all the time. Okay, so what happened was, and I was living with my mom at the time. He ended up moving in with us for a couple weeks. And at that time, when he lived with us, all of a sudden he wasn't a problem anymore. You would think it would be the total opposite. Someone moves in with you, you want to kill him,
Right.
5 minutes later. But he was all right. The only encounter we had that was odd was it was Halloween, and I was this lion with this kind of movable jaw thing I made. Wasn't great, and kind of a wizard thing. Hey, I'm a lion now. A better lion. Never mind. Anyway, we were getting ready for Halloween, and he was dressing up like the gargoyle, like the cartoons, the gray
Right.
gargoyle.
Okay.
So he had kind of painted himself gray and put on these wings he made out of PVC pipe and curtains or something. And somebody had stole his Dodge Daytona,
Ooh.
and he had called the police, but it wasn't. It happened, a week before. But something happened. The police was over, and he was out there. And my mom goes up and says, "He's like, Timmy, this person who rhymes with Shaz is out in our front yard, and he's yelling at a cop with his wings on." He's panicking. I'll never forget that.
Oh boy. And that's a problem I have because I know every damn thing. And so when somebody says something like that, I have to say, no, it's the thing here, and it's because of that, and it was a DOT regulation, and that's a DeSoto, and everything.
Right.
Trying to explain to people.
Oh, I like trying to explain to people that Mama Cass didn't floopy for my ham sandwich.
Right.
Fuck, I can't believe people are still saying that crap.
Hang on a second. We got a God's Shock update here. He's listening to Babblegab, and
Yay.
if any of us that have command experience, this man does. He was a police chief for 15 years, and he was also in the Army. Being a leader, being a chief, police for 15 years, what I said is you have to come in and establish your expectations and the standards that you uphold. You have to pull that equally and fairly amongst everyone, or you lose all credibility and respect, and then you're paying hell for trying to reestablish it.
Yeah.
And he's right. I mean, he knows.
I think maybe
That's
they just.
exactly
I think maybe they just wanted people to hate Captain Jericho.
So,
Maybe that's why
Well,
I liked him, because the writers
Jellicoe.
were
That Key and Peele did a thing about a substitute teacher, and the guy comes in. This is a different one, Steve. I think I mentioned it a couple weeks ago, but he comes in. He goes in. Blah blah blah. I'm not going to take any crap from any of you, and blah 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 blah. And he'd written his name on that. This is my name. Don't forget it, because I won't take. And he bends over and he's just frozen, and all the kids are frozen, looking at him wide-eyed. And he just kind of gets up, smears his name on a chalkboard, and just walks out the
gross.
door.
Oh, that's disgusting.
What?
That's
We
a
didn't
gross
kick it
thing
back,
to do.
just farted.
He just farted.
Oh, you said smear it on the blackboard. I'm like, okay.
Oh, no,
he
did-
erased it.
That's what I
Took
thought.
the
too.
eraser to the. Oh, like, what the?
Oh,
What the?
Word choice is important.
Well, I didn't think anybody would construe it that. Why would you?
all you said was smear it all over.
So before I joined Trouble Clef,
Well, yeah, thanks for the last episode of
That's the
Babblegab.
damn Muttley laugh that almost killed me one time.
so before I joined Trouble Clef, there was a guy. Oh, what was his name? I keep forgetting his name. But there was a guy that was going to be their lead singer, and he bought this fancy microphone and everything. But he was terrible. They said he was trying to be David Lee Roth, and he was just awful and awful. And they ended up firing him, and I ended up coming in and replacing him. And they played me one song that he was doing with them, and it was called. Basically, the song was that he was going to put his shit all over his girlfriend's wall, and she'd be shit scrubbing all day.
Dude.
That was the song.
Fuck?
Yeah, it was also horrible. It was like this Lou Reed sound. Of course, they had to be Lou Reed sound.
Sounds like,
Lou Reed.
sounds like a Tom Waits song.
Yeah. So,
Lou Reed's great. But anyway, go ahead. I don't
Glenn
think
was
it's-
his name. So then I
That's a
ended up.
horrible idea for a song.
Yeah, I know, right? And I can see why they fired him. So maybe a year later, I was my gold dragon costume, and I was on stage for this big contest. And there was this guy going as this pimp, and he had this long blonde hair, handsome guy, looked like David Lee Roth. And I didn't think anything about it. Nice enough guy. And I was showing them the video of this. Hey, look at this contest. I got second place after Pinhead. A guy that super glued nails all over his head to be Pinhead. So he deserved first prize. I wouldn't have accepted first prize against that guy. But I did get second. And there was a big crowd, and it was neat. And, won a couple $100 and a few knickknacks. And I was showing the Trouble Clip guys, and they were like, "That's Flynn!" The guy they fired, he was the pimp that looked like David Lee Roth. That was Flynn that was up there with me. And I didn't know it. And he was, nodding at me, and you're nodding at the guy that took your place when you were fired.
You know what's funny? That was like the climactic moment of Saturday Night Fever, the movie.
I do not remember that movie at all. I don't remember the Sgt. Pepper
The
movie.
expression, I don't know. You'll have to look at it in the replay, but the little tiger's expression was absolutely priceless.
That's my impression.
That's so cute.
I saw Saturday Night Fever. I was
That's
not
so
impressed.
adorable.
I was not impressed at all.
Oh,
just
Godshock
But at the
chimed
end-
in.
Yes.
Sorry, Godshock chimed in, and he said on the case of Captain Jellicoe in Next Generation, Jellicoe was basically rousting him up to let him know this was no game and getting them ready to fight the Cardassians,
Yeah.
which is true. Godshock's right, but it's funny. Facebook spell check takes it, instead of Cardassians, it was Kardashians.
Kardashian.
No, I'd rather go up against the Cardassians than the Kardashians.
Oh,
Yeah.
me too. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm not supposed to be cute.
No, you're not cute at all.
Damn it. I'm not. Come on. Oh. Anyway,
Was it Jellicoe or Jericho?
you played a song from Depressed Mode this morning, Steve.
Depressed.
There was somebody in a magazine categorized Depeche Mode and Erasure and those bands as Euro weenies.
Yeah.
Oh, I like it.
It's a whole genre. Have you heard of that punt, Euro weenies?
Yeah. No, I haven't heard Euro Wings, but I like Depeche Mode and I like Erasure.
It's okay. I'm not saying I liked Everything Counts, that song. I used to listen to it when in the semi, right? With my dad. I liked that song.
Well, melancholy music is great. You're in the mood for it a lot of times. I mean, I loved Kansas back in high school, but my God, it was like they were trying to get you to off yourself back.
Yeah, really. Well,
Dust in the Wind. Nothing you do is going to work out for shit, so you're doomed. But then they had us reading, The Bell Jar and Catcher in the Rye and all that other crap. I think they wanted to get rid of us back in the 70s.
They do. Why would they make you read about Jar Jar? And I really there was actually a conversation about that, about to kill a fucking bird, and how they would make us watch the movies in school and read the books, and it's like why do they want to make kids not like to read? Because that's what they're doing. And I said it's some he's in the 50s, that were like Dr. Evil and Frau Verbissima, let's make them read Catcher in the Rye and Mice and Men and all this stuff. And
the Grapes of Wrath. And,
I know.
The Pearl. Did you read
I didn't read The Pearl. I didn't read The Pearl, no.
Darren had to read one called Raisin in the Sun. What?
I read Raisin in the Sun. That's depressing.
They're all depressing. Well, sometimes, though, you'll get assigned a book in class, and, of course, you don't read the damn thing, and nobody does. Yeah, and then you pick it up and read it like 10 years later. So, this is actually a pretty good book.
Exactly. What I used to do my first period in my senior year, because I had all my credits taken care of, I needed a quarter credit to graduate, and I did that on drama or something. But I would go in the mornings just to stay out of the hallways. I'd go into the library and I'd read. For whatever, I got on a Hans Kafka kick. So I'm in the morning, or in the library every morning reading Hans Kafka, and then, then I'd go out and I'd just wander the halls. And it was so funny because I'd either be on the stage or I'd be in the art room, and I'd just basically walking back and forth doing stuff, whatever they needed. And I knew back then, is if you act like you know where you're going, you're not going to get stopped. Now we had a new principal who was this big black guy who was really a hard ass. And I'm walking down the hall one day, and he's got my girlfriend and a bunch of other people up against the lockers, and she's this cute little blonde thing. She's kind of mousy, and she's standing there, and I just walk by and I nod to him. He nods to me, the big principal, and I just keep walking on. And then we get down to I get back to the art room, and Kathy comes in. She was my girlfriend in high school. She's like, what did you? That's not fair. She goes, why didn't he put you against the locker? And I said, okay. I said, because I'm me. And she's just like, that sucks. And she was all mad about it. It happened, something like that. Similar happened again. And then another friend of mine, she wasn't a girlfriend, just a friend who lived down the street, Cheryl McAfee. I did something, because I never got in trouble. I did something. She grabs me by the arm. She goes, we're going down to see the principal. And she dragged me down to the principal. We're both laughing. She grabs me down and she goes, you know what Mark did? I can't remember what I did. Blah, 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 blah. And the principal just this is actually assistant principal woman. And she goes, and the assistant principal says, we're just going to let it go this time. And it was made her so mad. It was great. Just because, hey, I didn't get in trouble. I wasn't a bad kid. What do you say? You know what you do? Smile. It's just business. You got to remember that none of it's personal. It's only business. So it was funny.
Mm.
So I just brought.
So wait a second. Your girlfriend was a teacher, or a fellow student was taking you to the principal's office?
Okay. The redhead that took me was a fellow student taking me to the redhead's office. My girlfriend was the blonde who I walked past while she was being put up against the locker with about 6 other people for being in the halls after the bell rang. I was walking down the hall after the bell rang, and the principal had them against the wall, like finding out what's going on. I just looked at him and nodded, and he looked at me and nodded, and I just went on about my business.
It's a tough principal when he's. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, he interrogated. I don't know what he did with. I got to get him up, whatever they did to him. But yeah, I just walked right on past because I acted like I knew exactly where I was going, and it was relaxed. But
I thought the lady you were talking about was your teacher, that he had her against the wall. That's a tough principal there.
No, it was not my teacher. No, that was Miss Clark.
Dating your high school teacher like the president of France.
But shush, no, I never dated anyone. Never dated any of my teachers that I know of.
Nice. I had one hot teacher. Well, I had two. I had one hot teacher in the 3rd grade. She had the only red car in the teacher's parking lot. It was a Porsche 356. And she was quite hot.
My counselor,
like 85 now.
Yeah, I have a counselor named Joanne, and she took me to get a burger a couple different times.
Wow.
I guess I've always had issues, but I think I used to overplay my issues so I could spend time with the counselors because I could leave class.
Oh, I did that too.
Yeah, so spent a lot of time with Joanne, and she took me to get a burger a couple times, and she had one of those little Porsche, the little bitty Porsches.
The 914?
Yeah. And she also had a Subaru Brat. And one time we sat in the back of the Subaru Brat on the seats and ate the burgers, And she said I was like the most special creature she's ever met. I never had anyone call me a creature before. And she loved my cars and the things I drew. And she wanted me to make cars, and we were going to make things and try to send them to Hallmark and get cards made, like start a career and stuff. And I was trying to draw trucks and cars, and she was very, you need to straighten the lines here. And she was very, I'm like, well, I'm trying. And I think the next day she gave me a big apology. She says, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have ever pushed you into doing something like that, She's such a nice person. And I remember when we moved away, we gave her a call one time, and she was just so happy to hear from me.
Oh,
I wish I should have kept in touch. Yeah, she had big boobs. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I didn't say that. She had a big crush on you.
I think she did, and I looked like a.
You're a good-looking kid.
I would.
What?
You know what, Putt? Don't tell
thank you,
people
Putt.
that.
But
I know, but don't people like us who can't read signs from the opposite sex.
Uh-huh.
Everybody. Oh, you were so good looking back then. Fuck you. I didn't get anything in high school. Go to hell.
I know.
I've had people, like the hottest chick in high school on Facebook. I've got one of my suits and hats on. Oh, you look so good. I love your styles. The hell were you 30 damn years ago?
Yeah, really. There you go.
Honestly, I was just talking the other day about that. I don't think I've ever used the word flirt in my entire life because it's just never pertained to me. It's like, because I've never flirted, and I don't think anybody's flirted with me that I got the signal.
I never got that either.
All the time, you just don't notice it. Yeah.
I never got the signal.
You look at guys like Putt, with 14 girlfriends each year in high school, and can't even keep track of the goddamn things.
Well, Putt was he was an Adonis. He looked like Paul McCartney and skinny Paul McCartney.
My uncle, when I was a teenager,
you still are charismatic, but Darren couldn't stop talking about you.
When I was a teenager, my uncle had a picture of me in his wall, and he showed it to some neighborhood girl, and she said that, oh, he's so cute. And I agree, Tony. Where were you fucking, 30 years ago?
I know.
I got a Gottschalk update real quick. He's listening, and this is a story about school too, and this is true. He says, he goes, Mark Putt was in charge of the AP art class that was before and after lunch and during lunch. Neff left me in charge. Mr. Neff was the official teacher. He would leave and leave me in charge, so it was my damn class, and I would teach the art. And Gottschalk came into the class. He wasn't even registered, and then I ended up giving him an A, and he got an A for it on his report card. Neff officially signed it off, but Neff was so clueless about it that he just signed it off, and Gottschalk wasn't even resident. He just came in to hang out and got an A, so that was pretty cool.
Well, I tell you, Neff he either hated cars or he hated people who drew cars, and he sure hated me because guess what?
I don't know what his problem with that is, because he loved cars, actual real cars. He had sports cars. And one time somebody put a footprint on one of his damn cars, and he had me go out there and forensically draw the footprint. I'm like, I can do it, of course, but I'm like, you're a spaz, dude. I'm
You're trying to picture Mr. Neff. He looked like Bill Bixby.
Yeah, he looked like Bill Bixby.
Okay, because when you say Mr. Neff, yeah. I'm thinking of my three sons. Help me. Oh, Fred McMurray.
Fred McMurray.
No, he looked like Bill Bixby.
Looks like Bill Bixby.
Yeah, and he was 66 years old, and he looked like he was 40.
Yeah.
And he's got to be in his 90s or 100 if he's still around. He's one of those health food nuts that would put lemon in warm water and drink that all day. And I was going to do a painting, and I told Darren about this, and he got a kick out of it. I was going to do a painting of a lemon in Neff's chair, and Neff is stuck inside that warm glass of water with his hands, like a mime trying to get out this glass of water. But no, I remember drawing it as 60 DeSoto, and he's like, "You're not just going to draw cars all year, are you?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm a boy." One time he wanted us to go outside and draw things that were just around the school and on the street. So I drew a telephone pole and painted it with watercolor, and it was green. He says, "So you're feminizing it?" I'm like, no, the pole was green, you douche. I didn't call him a douche.
I'm surprised he actually made you do anything. In AP art class, his instructions for the whole class was, "Hey, I'm not going to say much. If you want to learn anything, come up here and watch me paint and pick my brain." Because he'd always paint those damn Indians. That was his teaching. That was his teaching technique. Come up here and pick my brain while he sat there on his desk, and I would set up the life drawing, and I'd do the other thing. I don't know. I'd help people and that kind of stuff. But so he literally just threw the class at me, and we just get a Darren. Was there. Gottschalk was there. It was wild.
But
We would go see. Gottschalk would make me go see Indiana Jones in the Temple of Doom like every week. That was during that time.
That's when I discovered Zeppelin, and I heard Kashmir on the radio, and I really liked it, but I didn't know what it was called or anything. And then there's this one guy that looked kind of like Gene Simmons, and he had it on his headphones, and I could hear it again. Like, that's that song. I'll never forget it. And I used to go there during lunch and make my own paintings, like bridges and rivers and things, and airbrush them. And Neff's thing was to put a stripe down the middle. Whatever painting you did, you got to put a stripe down the middle.
Yeah.
And I made a painting under the ocean with a manta ray and all these different neon colored fish. And he was critiquing it in front of the class, and he's like, "Timmy's kind of the blacksmith. He's a blacksmith of artists with these heavy brush strokes." It wasn't really an insult. It was just an observation. And I didn't take it. I thought it was kind of funny. I think I've still got it somewhere.
Yep. The one mentor I had in art school. I've had two mentors in my life that I respect with art. One was Mrs. Clark from Central. Okay. And she was a much older lady, like grandma age, and she'd actually have me come over to her house at times, and she'd work with me and all that. And she and I had a really good friendship. We would just basically, we could say anything we wanted to each other. You know what I mean? But she was like a grandma to me. She was that. So she was really cool. And then we even saw each other years later one time, and she was, "Man," when she said something to me like, "You're going bald." And she's looking at me, she goes, "You're going bald." And I'm like, "Yeah." And her friend was like aghast, and she goes, "Honey, don't worry. He and I do this. This is the way we talk to each other." And of course, it just rolled right off my back, and I gave her a hug, and and all that kind of thing. I should have said, "Yeah, you're getting even older," But
I would get back at her. You remember gym teacher McGuire?
Yeah.
And he walked around like a monkey.
Well, he used to be like a bodybuilder and had some muscles and shit removed. He looked weird.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, I can't remember what it was. He had muscles reductions. He had some of the surgery to get his muscles. It was just strange.
He was doing a bicycle class, and all these kids are riding the bicycles. And Mark Whitaker, I think Darren might have been with him. Mark Whitaker wasn't in his class. He might have already graduated. And he's like, "Oh, they're all right." And he tried to ride bicycles with them. And his bike, something happened, it broke down, and they wouldn't stop and help him because he wasn't part of the class. He's like, "Help!" Anyway, we're talking about the muscle thing, and Mr. McGuire. I was driving to church the other day, and I was looking down the sidewalk, and there was this guy walking toward me off in the distance, and he had no calves or no leg. It was like Tim Conway being the little guy where he's on his knees with the shoes, but the guy was walking, and he had shorts on, and it's like he's got this little bitty legs, like a baby's legs, but the rest of him is proportionate. And he's walking, and I'm like, poor guy. And then as I got closer, he was in a dip in the road, and it was an illusion. And I think I've got it on my dash cam. I'll have to find and see if it's recognizable, and I might. I don't know if I can put that in Face Album, but I don't want to put somebody out there who didn't agree to be filmed.
Yeah.
But
I need some of what you're taking, Tim. That's cool.
it was just looked funny.
Oh, Lord.
What are you doing, Steve? Yeah, you look just like Hoodoo.
Well, let me tell you something. Last night and the night before, I was out here on the street, and I saw these three ladies walking down the street. And I thought, they look pretty good, so I tried to run and catch up with them. I almost got there, and then all of a sudden they go up and they fly away. It was just birds.
Oh, they were birds. They weren't like golden retrievers.
Birds, yeah. The punchline of that joke actually comes at the very beginning. You got to listen. Last night and the night before. So anyway, I got to explain.
Some people can look up in the sky and they can't tell if something's a bird or a plane.
Yeah.
The worst part about it is how many people in the middle of the street. It's a bird.
Who cares? It's a fucking bird.
I know it's a plane.
Oh, it's a bird. The guy should be saying that's a bird.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It's a fucking bird.
It's a bird. It's like, shut up.
It's a bird. It's a plane you have there. Fuck you.
It's a
Oh,
plane.
it's Superman. It's just Superman.
Yeah.
What are you doing, Steve?
That's what they should have done, is done something like, it's a bird? No, it's a plane. No, it's not. It's Superman. What the fuck?
Yeah, what the fuck? I know what the fuck that is. It's Superman.
No, it's a bird.
I'm Superman.
No,
damn it.
You should be. It's a bird. It's a plane. Oh,
Boy.
hey, it's Clark Kent in his damn underwear again.
Who's
Hey,
that?
Tell me what
He
good
can
is
fool
it
people
to
by
have-
taking his glasses off.
Who's that?
Yeah.
Look at this. Oh, I'm somebody else.
Yeah, oh yeah, that always gets me. Yeah, you'll never find out I'm Superman. Here we go. Yeah.
Yeah, and like Wonder Woman.
Oh,
What
she
the
did.
fuck good does your invisible plane do when they can see you? And you're not invisible. This looks like you're up there taking a fucking dump in the sky. Sometimes I am Superman.
Oh, that used to drive me crazy. Can't you people tell that he's Superman? Don't you think I know
The
that?
premise is that Clark Kent is such a weasel, such a wimp, that nobody even puts it together in the head.
Right.
Well, people all look the same back then.
Well, you know what
I'm
gets
not
me?
gonna say-
What gets me is that Wonder Woman did the same thing. Diana Prince, she'd have the glasses on, but every once in a while she'd put her glasses up like this. That's Wonder Woman. They wouldn't.
Well, they wouldn't be thinking about it. They wouldn't say, "Oh, it's just some secretary just standing around."
But that's her face, you know.
Oh,
At
was
least-
Wonder
Some
Woman a
of us aren't much
secretary?
good at facial recognition.
Yes,
I don't-
well, she was an
I can't tell who
agent.
you people are.
She was an agent. She was a secretary in the
She
army.
was a
or
secret
first.
Asian. Yeah, I know.
And then she was a.
Asian man.
She was, and then she was an agent with the IADC.
One of the best scenes out of the Justice League series, it was an animated series called Justice League Unlimited. It was really good. Was there's some aliens invading Earth, and the Justice League has to go undercover, meaning they have to use their real identity. They have to take off their superhero costumes and go walk around. And Flash says, hey, wait a minute now. I trust you guys, but I'm not sure about this. And Batman just looks at him and he goes, "You're Wally West." To Flash, who he was. He was Wally West, and he points to Superman. He goes, "Clark Kent," and he pulls his mask off, and he goes, "Bruce Wayne." And he's like, "Okay." And then the next scene is him walking down the street. He goes, "Can you believe Bruce Wayne is back? He never even smiles. You know what I mean? The richest guy in the world, and he doesn't even smile."
I wouldn't smile either if I had that kind of money. Oh, Lisa said, "I'm Wonder Woman sometimes wondering what's going on." I think it would be cool to be one-hit Wonder Woman. But, I'll be right back.
But that just drove me crazy. They're not the only superhero that would use glasses to hide the identity. Isis, the prince. Remember the TV show Isis?
Yep.
She did that, but you could tell that she was Isis.
Well, because you're watching the TV. The average person, if you're walking by the street, you don't even notice, that guy looks like Saddam Hussein. Yeah, but so does that guy and that guy and that guy.
I will say there are people that I've seen where I've seen them in glasses all the time, and then if I don't see them in glasses, I got to do a double take.
Yeah.
I have seen it.
If a woman is dark-haired and she dyes her hair blonde, people will not recognize her, or vice versa.
That's what, Elizabeth Montgomery did that. She would walk around as Serena off camera, and people would not even know that was Elizabeth Montgomery.
Because they just never made the connection.
Another person who does that in real life is Dolly Parton. We have no idea what Dolly Parton really looks like. She
he takes those boobs off and then nobody sees it.
He takes those boobs off.
Yeah, she's not blonde. She's a brunette, and she looks like a typical Southern lady or whatever. And she can walk around wherever she wants. Everybody recognizes her.
Oh, that's not her real hair then?
No. She says, "Honey, it takes a lot of money to look this cheap."
Oh, that's my favorite. I love it. It takes a lot of money to look this cheap. She fashioned herself after the town tramp where she grew up.
Mm-hmm.
Did she?
Yeah.
Well, the thing too is that human hair can only stand so much ratting up and dying and all that crap. So eventually it just goes to pot, and they end up having to wear a wig anyway.
Take her boobs off. That'd have been funnier if I had said it. No, okay, it's funny. Lisa says, I'm Wonder Woman sometimes, wondering what's going on.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Gumby, damn it.
Yeah.
I'm Gumby, damn it. Yeah.
But I'm really pumped up and excited about this Star Trek. I hate to go back to the Star Trek film, but
that's fine. Timmy's not here.
I know, that's why I'm doing it. Yeah.
You were only supposed to blow the bloody door off. Wrong movie.
I can't wait to see Mark dress as a Klingon.
Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, I'll look good. I'm going to find one of the old school Klingons to fashion myself after.
Yeah.
See who I look. And then but keep my beard and, and make my own.
So you're going to be a non-turtle Klingon, right?
Oh, I'm not going to be a turtle Klingon. I'm going to be I'm going to be the
biker Klingon.
Right.
It's a lot easier on makeup job, too,
Right.
Yeah, a lot easier. Basically, just darken your skin, arch your eyebrows, a little bit, and then they talk different. They didn't do all that. This is honorable.
Oh no, I know they seem to turn into animals in later years.
Yeah, and the ones I mean that were really the ones that in TOS were really sly and snotty and snarky and dangerous.
They just turn them into, like they said in Star Trek 6, the alien trash of the galaxy.
Yeah.
Well, in fact, I got to get with the couple of people from the theater who said they'd play a part, and I want to talk to them and make sure, okay, this is different than big theater, like you said last week. You don't have to be so wide and broad like on camera, so hopefully they can pick up on that.
Yeah, I like Dolly Parton too.
Yeah. Oh, everybody likes her. Thank God.
She's got a perky sense of humor. I like that. It's Southern.
I'd like to meet her.
I'd like to meet her too. She's got like an amusement park, and I saw some interviewers there at Dollywood, and they're talking about this coaster, big roller coaster. I said, "Have you ridden this roller coaster?" And she's like, "Oh no, I've never been on it. What would it do to my hair?"
I came up with a dumb Jarnac years ago that I've never used because it was dumber than the joke book I used. I came up with it, I made it myself. The answer is there are two things I'd like to get off my chest, and the question is, what would Dolly Parton say to a psychiatrist? I'm like, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Oh,
didn't make any sense.
Doesn't. You'd go to a plastic surgeon for that.
I said,
hey,
I said a psychologist.
Want to hear my Dolly Parton impression?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Steve. Hey, Wesley. What are you two doing here together?
I resemble that remark.
Wesley does a great Dinah Shore impression.
Dinah Shore, yeah.
Wesley, you're from Land of the Lost.
Funny impression.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, the gator lady, the dinosaur lady who runs the boutique in my film.
Yeah.
So I designed that dinosaur woman for Kathy Coleman from Land of the Lost. I wanted her to do the voice. Mm-hmm. And I was at Pensacon a couple of years ago, and she did it, but in a big hurry, and she didn't put soul into it. It wasn't her fault. They were being rushed for a QA, and there was background chatter, and I just couldn't use it.
You should get
And
Wesley to actually do that voice for that.
Well, I was going to ask Wesley then.
Do the
to
Dinah
it.
Shore voice.
And I just really couldn't get him to, even at the con there, where I spent a few days with him, I felt awkward wanting to pull him aside and do this. So I ended up doing an imitation of Wesley imitating Dinah Shore for the dinosaur voice. So I ended up doing her voice. It was like, oh, Terry, I know where your clothes are. You left them in the dressing room. So, I did what I could. I think it worked out.
You should go like, so tell me, Terry, why are you here?
Well, even Terry didn't know why he was there.
Oh, okay.
Because he just went there because Otto had to use the phone. And he said there might have been a phone there. And the next thing, I don't know, try this one on, and got Terry in that nudie suit. And then he ended up being in his birthday suit after the nudie suit when the girls never mind.
All hands on deck.
And Neb and Tony did the one of the low lady voices, and my cousin Debbie did a voice, and Neb was the one who's like, oh. He was so funny. They're gonna flippity flip. She was based off Miss Frumpington from the Alvin show.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. Oh, that's ugly. Let's put that.
Get a different background. Yeah, that's a better background.
Yeah, that's the actual world that I dislike that. Yeah, I don't like the real world.
That's why I got this behind me. It's nice to be in a fantasy world for a few minutes.
Yeah.
I keep thinking the mark behind you that somebody's looking out the windows in the Klingon ship. They're flipping you off.
They probably are.
Hey, my dad.
I was getting ready to say something like that, but I thought, nah. Look at the green screen behind Tony.
Ooh, isn't that weird looking?
Yeah, that's pretty.
I don't think it's a green screen. I think it's a graphic.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Boy, it sure looked like a green screen, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. Cary Grant. Judy. Eva Marie Saint. James Mason. Fred Hitchcocks. Oh, I just saw the Fred. North by Northeast.
We'll have to work on Steve's reading comprehension.
No, I knew it was Northwest.
Okay. Anyhow.
Sorry, guys. I'm explaining who you are to our guest.
Oh, who's our guest?
Good luck with that.
So apology none for my head.
Lisa said, I thought that the dinosaur woman had a sexy voice, didn't know it was Timmy, LOL.
Well, thanks. I guess it worked then. I don't know if she's supposed to be sexy. She was just supposed to be me imitating Wesley, imitating Dinah Shore.
What about that cop's voice? Do you think he was sexy?
Oh, yeah. So masculine.
Not you.
Oh, sorry.
That's how I learned how to do Reagan's voice, is by listening to Rich Little do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rich Little did a really good Truman Capote.
I don't know what I'm doing here.
Yeah. Rich Little
that was Deputy Dog.
He was the first big time impressionist.
Yeah, oh, that was. Well, Truman Capote, our Droopy Dog, was fashioned after Truman Capote.
Droopy Drawers, yeah.
Yeah.
There's Hitchcock, very famous.
Oh, there's a guy that
Always puts himself in the movie.
There was an older guy that worked with me in Alabama. He was like, "Your boy's gonna," this old Southern guy. And one time he had talked to a guy in Holland or something on the phone, and the guy asked, "Do you do the voice for Deputy Dog?" And he was serious. He was really serious, yeah. And because and I didn't realize it until I went to a tower site. They got the buildings on top of the hills with the towers. Uh-huh. And I went in there, and we opened the door, and an alarm went off, and it was this voice. It was like, "If you're here,
If you're here by mistake, it was the Deputy Dog voice. It sounded so like Goofy. It was so like a cartoon character, and it was him. And he's a nice guy. Don't get me wrong. It was just so funny when we heard the voice.
It's not. That's hilarious.
You boys here by mistake. You better.
You remember the voice in Pebbles and Bam Bam when they were older? Remember Bad Luck Schleprock?
No.
He was wowzy woo woo, terrible day, isn't it, Pebbles?
Well, that sounds like Droopy. Yeah.
That's what I was saying. They got the same voice for Droopy.
Well, that's what I meant, Droopy. I didn't mean Deputy. Deputy Dog was the guy that I worked with, but Droopy is that. That car reminds me exactly of one that I've got in that B&G Drive game. That's a real car simulation where the crashes are really realistic. Mm-hmm. And they've got a 57 Ford like that, and you can get like that kind of taxi and police car paint job.
That's cool.
Was that the same woman in there that played Lois Lane? George Reeves Superman. Looks like
possibly. That woman who played Lois Lane was not attractive in the Superman show.
Was she ever supposed to be?
The old, Lois is supposed to be very good looking, but the one that they had in the old, not Steve, was it Steve Reeves? Who was the guy?
George Reeves.
Yeah, Steve Reeves was Hercules.
Right. The old George Reeves show, that woman they had playing Lois was like way too old and mean and
he drove one of those Ramblers with the convertible top with the side windows that stayed up.
Well, I didn't think Margot Kidder was all that pretty. I mean, she was pretty, but
she's all right.
Not a 10.
Yeah, I think she's like more like cute, like doable.
Yeah.
Well, I think Office Hot. She's supposed to be. I think she's supposed to be Clark Kent's soulmate, where she would be a nerd, not Superman's soulmate. Boy, I'm glad I got screens because I've had deer flies want to get inside here. Oh, now that's a June bug. It's not even June yet.
Oh, wait a minute. Hey, do you guys want to...
It's global warming. We get the June bugs in May now.
All these marathon... I don't want to say it because I don't want to see it. Never mind. Go ahead, Bud.
Oh, do you guys want to hear my Dolly Parton impression?
Yeah.
Sure.
I've been working on this for a long time, so it's going to be... It's like... I don't remember asking you a damn thing. Sounds just like her.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, that was our. We said this before, but that one guy that was political that commented on my once every 5-year meme on the My Ways. He had that show that he did on the radio, his supposed comedy show, when we were going to do a bumper for it, a sweeper, and we were into Pulp Fiction at the time. Remember, Putt?
Yeah, right.
And I was gonna say, hey, Putt, are you ready to do this? And you were like, no, I just watched a movie, blah blah blah. And I'm like, really? And I just asked a question, and he goes, I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing. You said it like that. And
Kevin MacLeod.
When we ended up hearing it back on the show, he cut it out where you're like, I don't remember asking you a thing. And we're like, what? And the joke doesn't make any sense anymore.
I cut it out.
No, he did.
Oh.
I don't even remember his name now, which I should because he was. But
Kevin MacLeod.
No, but he was going to put it on .g's channel, which is family friendly, and it was his first time. It's like so he cut the part out and it didn't make any sense anymore. So it was the last sweeper we made for him.
Isn't that Captain Stupid? Captain Stupid.
Well, which one? Yeah, it looks like him doing it. The one on the left. There's like when they dub over the movies, like remember the movie Snakes on a Plane with Samuel L. Jackson?
Oh, for crying out loud!
Yeah, which I heard wasn't a very good movie. It sure had
from beginning to end.
What?
Well, what they did was when he would say the MF word that he's famous for, they turned it into monkey fighting. He goes, I want these monkey fighting snakes off this monkey fighting plane right now.
What, for TV?
Whatever, I don't know.
Because I remember watching one episode, one TV version of Smokey the Bandit.
Yeah,
and it was all they dubbed in different words and all that, and then it was like, oh, don't use that kind of language around my son. What kind of thing are you talking about?
Oh yeah, he would say instead of some bitch, they would change it to scumbum.
Yeah,
what's wrong with some bitch?
Rogers? It looked like Fred Rogers in the back of that car.
Oh, it could be.
58 Cadillac.
So, yeah, Eldorado.
That's Fleetwood 75.
Isn't that doesn't look like a Fleetwood? Well, I guess it may
It's a
be.
long one. It's,
All right, got to fill up my coffee.
So,
healthy.
what were we just talking about?
There's Captain Stupid back there.
Yeah. And you know, like Channel 31, the independent stations in Colorado, when there was a naughty word, if they took it out, they would just take it out and blank it.
Right.
But then all of a sudden, somebody got the bright idea of substituting words. So it's like instead of it's like you stupid guy. It's like it just takes the whole wind out. At least blank it out and leave our imaginations.
Yeah.
No, I was watching an episode of Flipper because Flipper, the local station was playing Flipper.
That dolphin had a foul mouth.
Gangsters, and they were standing there, and one of them said to the other, "Gosh darn it!" About fell out of my chair, and I was only like 10.
Oh, well, when I had my catheter removed, was one of the most painful things I'd ever felt.
You said, "Gosh darn it."
I did. I said, "Gosh damn" is what I said.
Okay.
I yelled it. I'm like, "Oh, gosh damn." And the nurse kind of smirked and was like, "I thought you were going to say a lot worse than that." Now, but a friend of mine, recently too, he had a thing going on, and they put the catheter in him while he was awake. And I cannot even imagine.
They never gave me a catheter when I was in. I was like, "You should," and then they didn't. I mean, not that I really wanted one, but it's like I had a stroke. It was hard right at first to do the bathroom. They did give me a urinal, which worked out fine. I learned how to use it and all that, but it was kind of a pain in the butt. I mean, like, why? I gotta wake up and take care of this, which anybody does. But I was just amazed they didn't. I was expecting them to do that and hurt me.
Well, is it true that we biologically, instinctively have a bit of a pain memory block?
Yeah, and we also secrete a hormone at night that keeps us from peeing.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. But I am watching Go ahead.
Yeah, you can actually disassociate yourself from the pain. There's a story that I read about a prisoner of war once, and he was, tied up to a pole outside and all that. And he said he was hanging on this pole, and he kept hearing somebody screaming, and he's like, he felt bad for the poor guy, and then he realized it was him. And but there are ways to block memory pain and actual physical pain mentally. You can do it. I can't do it. I'd love to learn to do it, but I haven't. I
think that L. Ron Hubbard, that diabetics book, was a little bit. But I had well, I'm listening to these old Babblegabs trying to find funny moments, and
good luck with that.
I had gone through the ones where I was having my surgery and stuff. And I was telling you guys about you were I said I don't look down there. I was talking about when I was on the phone with Wendy and felt and realized that they drilled through my belly button, and I didn't know that. And Steve was kidding me. "Oh, you don't look down there?" I'm like, "No, I don't look. I rarely do anyway." And I looked down there and realized that my dongle was black and blue.
Oh, not a black and blue dongle.
Yeah, I know, and it's like I had forgot about that until I heard the Babblegab. I didn't even think about that, and that's a big deal.
Yeah.
And it's like my memory just blocked all that stuff.
So you look down there and you go, "Motherfucker."
I know, right? And there was all sorts of things I was talking about, the pain I was going through that I forgot about.
My dick is black and blue. Can you please help me?
I know.
My babies.
Son of a biscuit eater.
That was
when I was in this hospital. It took blood from me every day, every night, and it got to the point where I just basically I couldn't. I just mentally I prepared for myself. I got to the point literally where I couldn't feel the needles, and I'd literally sleep through the blood draws just because I wanted to get the extra sleep. And where we had a new phlebotomist one time, and I think this wasn't there at the hospital. This was a different time. New phlebotomist I went to at a clinic, and she started sticking me and couldn't get blood out because I don't have great veins. And we got to 9 times where she stuck me. Okay. Now I just sat there and took it. I mean, I just mentally got myself in the right space, and I made it a game. I said, you're going to give up before I do. You know, because I'm not, I need this blood draw needs to happen. I drove an hour to get it, and so I sat there. She finally gave up after 9 times and went and got a friend who basically said, "Yeah, you got enough blood for all the tests." So then they left me alone. But it was like, because the more she did, the more nervous she got, and it was just, I wouldn't say it was funny. I felt bad for her, but I mean, I just talk about blocking pain or whatever. It was just like that's one of the few times I could mentally do it. I could just like, okay, hey, go, give me your best shot. Stick me as many times as you want, wherever you want, without, with certain exceptions. I mean, you're not going to be sticking me in my nutsack. I'm sorry, but but my arms.
The thing is, those of us who are got a little bit more padding and whatever, finding a vein is impossible. I could never be a junkie. When
I can't imagine.
My nose rooted out.
Hell no.
When I had my nose rooted out, the anesthesiologist was like all over. And I ended up the next day, had this bruise like that big on my forearm, and he ended up going through the back of my hand. And the SOB has the nerve to send me a bill. I said, "You asshole."
Well, you remember Phil Lennett from Thin Lizzy,
right?
I saw behind the music about him, and it was mostly his mom being interviewed about him. And he had a white mom, and she was talking about she didn't know he used drugs until like one day she saw that his legs and feet were full of pinpricks.
Yeah,
that's how bad it was. Can you imagine? Goodness, why would somebody do that to themselves?
Addiction's a rough thing because people will destroy every vein in their damn arm shooting up, and then have to they end up like shooting up in the friggin' under their toenails and all this crap. God, that's trying to get that high.
That's terrible.
Yeah, there's that song "Lust for Life" they used to use for the cruise lines. I got a lust for life with Iggy Pop. I got a lust for life. And then, here comes Johnny in again.
It's going to copyright strike pretty soon now.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
anyway, the song. It's a really cool song, and they used it for a cruise line. All it is about heroin. The whole song is about heroin because he goes on with the lyrics like one of them was, I've had it in the ear before. That's another place they would inject is into the ear canal. So you couldn't see it, and so you could, but that's all he's singing. Listen to that lyrics of that song, and it's funny. It's a song about glorifying heroin that they use for a cruise line. And Iggy Pop was proud to do it. He sat there dancing, doing his thing for the cruise line. And they have no idea what they just bought. They didn't bother to listen.
No, I just
like that song, pot.
Yeah, I recently saw a picture of Iggy Pop. He's in a suit, sitting in some expensive car, like a Bentley or whatever, like doing ads for him. I was like, jeez. He actually looks better now than he did 10 years ago. Of course, he looks better clothed.
Yeah, he always got his damn shirt off. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw him at in Greenwich Village when I was seeing the Roy Wood concert. He was at a table right in front of us, and he was with like the leader of the Ramones, and they were there to watch it. And it was just low key.
Yeah.
But when they said it, I did get a little starstruck. Kind of start staring, and Iggy Pop would like stare at me, and I'd be like, "I'm looking at you."
Iggy Pop stared at you, man. You got
a couple times. I'd look away.
Mm-hmm.
If Iggy Pop stares at you, look away, baby. Look away. I'd get copyright strikes. I better not.
Yeah.
Now, what is this with Mr. Rogers trying to drive?
They dumped all this booze in him, and they set him off in a car to try to kill him, and he's trying not to get killed.
No, he's not Mr. Rogers. Who is he?
Cary Grant.
Cary Grant.
Or if it was a Flintstone, it'd be Cary Grant.
I remember going to a auto museum in Central Missouri with my dad, and they had Clark Gable's Duesenberg.
Huh? Oh boy. Yeah, because they made two special little two-seaters with the supercharged engine, one for him and one for Gary Cooper. And I think Gary Cooper didn't have his very long, but Clark Gable really liked his.
I would like to see Bobby Darin's Ford concept car that they made for him.
Yeah. Cop rear ends on him.
Yeah, Alfred Hitchcock does not like cops. Really? You ever watch any of his movies and there's a cop in there, he's always portrayed as a complete idiot.
Trying to think if there was a cop in the Boyds.
Well, I at least kind of redeemed my goofy cop in my film.
Oh, that guy was an asshole, though.
Well, you? Well, of course he was, but I at least kind of redeemed him at the end.
Well, no, I just got to beat up the right guy at the end.
Yeah. Yeah, but right when he was about to slug tearing, I didn't mind spoilers for any of you, but yeah.
Oh, and there's that guy. The guy. Well, okay, it's gone.
Maytag repairman.
No, he was the guy in the Charger in Bullet. The guy with the gun, not the driver. No, it's.
I thought there was just one guy in the Charger.
No, there was the driver and the guy with the shotgun. And the driver was the actual stuntman. They just put him in a suit and cast him in the role.
Well, what about the other guy?
That was Paul Genga, who was a bald-headed dude. They might come back to him, I don't know. But he was the shooter.
So they're going to, like, throw him out of the car when it's moving and stuff, and he's not even a stuntman?
No. Because they both ended up crashing into the empty space behind the gas station. If you watch the chase from Bullet really closely, at the very end of the chase, they're heading for this gas station. They actually go around behind it because the car has no driver in it.
Well, I remember something like the wheel or the hubcap was going separate from the car. I remember that.
Yeah, the Charger lost about 8 hubcaps.
Yeah.
Because they kept reusing the same shot.
That reminds me of the...
Chargers will do that.
Yeah.
Well, any car with full wheel covers, because you watch Charlie's Angels, man, they have Mustang 2s, they'd just be shooting. I think they got a bad guy. She just whipped the Mustang 2 around a corner really fast, and the hubcap flew off and caught the bad guy.
It was a hubcap dispenser.
Yeah, it was clang.
Projectile hubcaps. They would ask me if in Noonan if I'm ready for a needle stick. I'd tell them, don't ask me that, just do it. Ooh, I can't even look. I've got to look the other way. I don't want to see it. And they say I got good veins, so I think every person's ever done that. So
you're so old.
Well, you're more slender. It's just a matter of if you've got fat around the veins or not. I mean, like people like me, I'm not even sure I have veins.
I'll be right back.
Look at this guy. How you doing, Pot?
I'm sorry, I'm doing good. Hang on a second. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be so distracted.
I guess I'm invisible.
See, that's the thing is that they poured a bunch of alcohol down him and put him in a car, and they expected him to go off a cliff, and he managed to keep it together long enough to. And now he's trying to explain to the cops, and the cops don't believe him, of course.
Uh-huh.
And there's nothing he can show them to make them believe. That's the whole movie, is that he's being chased by these people, and they're so good at it that nobody believes him.
Oh, okay. It's almost like a gaslight situation.
Well, kind of. It's just that they melt into the background, or who's chasing you? What that guy? Oh,
yeah.
Where'd he go? You know, it's a
right. Yeah. Oh, there's no car back there.
Like that.
I apologize again for that distraction. I was explaining a few things to our guest. She's gone, but that's.
You have a guest.
We had a guest. Yeah. What's the name of that movie? That sounds good.
North by Northwest.
Oh yeah, the Hitchcock. I haven't seen a lot of Hitchcocks.
Yeah. They're good. His reputation's earned.
Okay.
Oh, look at that. Sorry about that, Chief.
Is that Morgan, Harry Morgan?
No, it's Ed Platt, Chief of Control.
Oh, yeah.
Right, okay, yeah.
He was also in Rebel Without a Cause.
Right, okay.
Rebel Without a Cars?
Yeah, that was it.
Old
Papa Cass, Booger T.
Booger Gas.
That's what I love about these old movies. Is, I remember that there's this one. Like, if you watch Rebel Without a Cause, not only is the Chief of Control in it, but Thurston Howell III is in it.
Mm-hmm.
That reminds me of, I was listening Memory Lane last week when Bob came back. Did you hear about that? He was talking about Boogie, And he said, not the guy that knows so much.
One of the funny, you guys ever watched Mystery Science Theater 3000?
Oh, I love that show.
Long time ago.
One of the funniest bits they ever did, and it was so subtle, was Joel Robinson said that when he was young, him and his dad would watch these old movies, and they'd always look for this kind of background character or character actor named Milt something. I can't remember his name. Milt whatever. Let's say Milt Jones or whatever. And and Joel was like, they're watching some movie, and he goes, "Hey, that looks like Milt Jones." And he goes, "Well," and then one of the robots is like, "It's not Milt Jones." And then, he's like, "Oh, okay." He goes, "My dad and I used to watch it." And then the guy would show up again. He goes, "And Milt Jones, everybody." And the robots are getting more and more aggravated. "It's not Milt Jones." He was our favorite actor when I was a kid.
Do you think all that was scripted when they did Mystery Science Theater 3000?
Half and half. They had to script some of it, and then some of it had to have leeway to improvise. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, my flute came. The one that was on back order. Yeah, it was on back order since January. Yeah, it finally came this last week. And they're not easy to play. It's hard to get a sound out of it, but that's how stuff is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, wind instruments are kind of strange because you think, just blow into it and that everything happens from there. But with the flute, you're blowing past it.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, you don't blow into it, you blow past the hole.
Yeah.
You blow
maybe I should try it that way.
It's just weird. But like trying to play the bugle. If you just pick up a bugle and go, doesn't do a damn thing. You got to go. And then your lips end up
like a bee.
I'm sorry, baby.
Yeah.
I would love to learn how to play saxophone.
Yeah, you need a fart. I was like,
let me see if I'm gonna get the flute and see if I can make a sound out of it.
Oh.
Yeah, go get it. Blow past the hole. Blow over the hole.
I bet when he plays it, it's going to sound like he flute feed. Never mind.
Flute feed.
But
Ladies and gentlemen,
wow.
I kind of did.
But the only problem is when you kind of start to lean over a little bit, your head disappears.
Mm-hmm.
oh, like that?
That other way, it happens more often.
I'm not going to do it no more. Okay, we'll do it again,
No,
Tim.
it'll never happen when you're trying to do it.
Right, you're right.
I don't disappear no matter which way I go.
You're 100% right, Tony. Tim, play the flute again.
Wow, that's great.
You hear it?
No.
Yeah, regular Jethro Tull there.
There we
That's
go.
better.
I play Color My World.
God, no, man.
Fuck that
Full
song.
daylight here. I usually play that to go to sleep. That Roberta Flack. High energy Dave.
Hi, I'm High Energy Dave.
Okay, Tim, you know how to play instruments. I mean, you know how to play wind instruments.
But
Yeah, you can play with your instruments pretty good.
Yeah, get your breath deep down inside your belly and then make a nice steady stream across the hole.
Okay.
I'm just gonna learn it. I'm just trying to make a
that's cool.
sound with it. It's an alto flute. It's bigger than a regular flute. It's got the J head on it.
Oh, right. Oh, hell.
Yeah, you've seen Tracy Trell play it.
Right. Does it have? I mean, okay. Does it have a reed or does it just have the regular hole?
It's a regular hole. Wendy explained to us that flutes don't have reeds, even though they're called woodwinds. I didn't know that until recently, until she said that.
Yeah.
I've got a trumpet. See, I can play a trumpet better than the flute because I'm used to it.
Got a trumpet.
You got an embouchure for it, yeah. You can play trombone too, can't you?
Yes, I've got a trombone and F sharp.
You've never showed us your embouchure.
What?
You never showed us your embouchure.
What's an embouchure?
Embouchure is how you hold your lips for playing a trumpet or any instrument. It's embouchure is a shaker. There you go, Tony's got a perfect embouchure right there.
Well, that was Boy Scouts years ago.
What was that one? Was that pretty good?
Yeah,
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, you can do the
Someone
Charlie's Angels thing. Doodle-oo-loo-loo-loo-loo.
I got a trumpet somewhere. I don't know. I've got a couple trumpets.
I'm going to learn to play the theremin.
Well, you know what? I just don't give a damn about any trumpet playing band.
To me, that ain't rock and roll.
I used to love that song.
Whenever Steve plays it, I always remind him because back in the days of AM Top 40, he used to have AM rock and roll on Top 40 on AM radio, and Sultans of Swing in 1979 was on 2 stations at the same time. I hit the button for one, hit the button for the other with the same.
I didn't know when it first came on. I didn't know who it was, and I didn't have an appreciation for it until maybe in the mid '80s when I heard it again on classic radio. And I'm like, I remember that song. Like my mom would have it in the car. I didn't know who it was, and it was that's Dire Straits. Son of a bitch.
I would say saxophone is my favorite instrument.
The kazoo.
Saxophone.
The kazoo, it's a bass kazoo, is what a saxophone is.
There's just some like "My Kind of Lady" by Supertramp. That is an awesome sax sound.
Or Jerry Rafferty, right?
Baker Street.
Oh,
yeah, the sax sounded good sometimes, but it was so overused, and a lot of times it's just annoying. That one horrible song from Wham that came out, that "Endless Dancing by Myself," "Careless Whispers," whatever.
Oh yeah. Hairless Whisper.
I didn't like anything Wham put out when they were being a top 40 hit.
What's the matter, Steve?
Hairless Whisper.
Hairless Sister was the parody.
Oh, was that okay?
Hairless Sister.
Hairless Sister. That's fun.
It was funny is Wham around in the United States was called Wham UK.
Oh yeah.
They wanted to emphasize, and the beat. It was called the Beat in England, and it was called the English Beat out here.
Yeah, and there was a band called the Choir Boys in England, and out here they're called the London Choir Boys.
Yeah, just because they wanted to emphasize, because it was like the second British invasion in the 80s.
Oh, that's like the Detroit Spinners.
Play that up. The Detroit what?
The Detroit
Spinners.
Spinners.
The Detroit Spinners, yeah.
Because there was a UK band, the Spinners, I think.
Oh right, well yeah, there was a Coasters. I think it was the Drifters or Coasters. That there was a U.S. Motown band, and then also the British. The Shadows was originally, I think, the Coasters or something like that.
Now, see, when I think of the Spinners, I think of a couple Motown songs that I really like. Whenever you want me, I'll be there.
That's another copyright strike.
What?
Another copyright strike.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't sound up like...
No, it doesn't pick it up when you're saying... we're going to get a copyright strike because of the shit behind me.
Yeah, I hope that doesn't happen.
It gets me.
It's a completely different...
What gets me, you could put a song in a video, maybe just a clip of it, but yeah, you can go to YouTube and get any fucking song you want to.
Of course.
Where's all the copyright infringements there?
God, that looks like that freaking guy from the movies.
He is the guy from the movies.
Well, he looks like the guy who was in The Producers, the Broadway play, the movie made of the Broadway play, not the '68 movie, the 80s.
The pale guy almost looks like a caricature.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
But it was somebody who works with Matthew Broderick a lot.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. So I can't sing. Hand me down my walking cane. Hand me down my hat.
Yeah.
That hairdo makes that lady look 45 years older than she probably is. Yeah. I can't understand that hairdo.
I think she's playing his mother, and that's what they did that intentionally.
Oh, yeah.
Because that happened a lot. Angela Lansbury. What's funny is she was cute when she was young, but she hit a certain age, and then she just played old ladies from then on.
Yeah.
Why do women just decide to start looking frumpy on purpose?
There are probably more roles for that because...
No, I don't mean Hollywood. I'm just talking about women in general. Why would they get that hairdo in general?
Or they're tired of getting hit on. Well, the thing is, the practical hairdo is just so much easier to maintain. You know, having long flowing hair, it's like having a Ferrari. You know, it looks great, but it's a maintenance headache.
Well, even Toni Tennille in that interview, she said her page boy hair, which she had in the interview, said it was so hard to keep up and that she would rather just keep it short. And that's not even long hair.
No. I can tell you, I can sympathize. I got beautiful long locks in there.
Mm-hmm. I know.
They take a lot of maintenance.
I know. What do you think of my long locks, you know? I got long locks.
Yeah, I do need a haircut, man. I need a beard cut.
Yeah, me too. The thing is...
You look like a hippie, Tony, yeah.
Well, when I had the hair... Because I went during the whole COVID horse shit, I went a whole year without cutting my hair.
It looked good. I'm looking at these
Well, I think
reruns,
it-
and you look like a statesman, like the Quaker Oats guy or something. You look pretty cool.
Probably did. But the thing is, I don't think it looked as good in real life. It made him look better on camera because it was my hair. It gets stringy. It's really fine, so it gets stringy and just unmanageable. It's like,
Well, it looked good. You had like really good lighting. You weren't using the films in the back of you, and you just looked good. The skin tone looked good. The hair looked really good in some of those.
You look fabulous, darling. I don't know why.
Fabulous.
Now you've got it, so you need to strut it. If you've got it, flaunt it, and you've got it.
I'm still wondering because Halloween tradition is you get to see me without the cartoon thing. So I'm wondering I might do something with the draconian head, maybe.
I'm going to be Gandalf this year. That's why I'm growing my hair out. I think I do really want to do it. I'm going to grow out my beard and my hair as long as I can, and I'm going to do all gray.
the thing is, I'm gray enough to where I could do that now.
Yeah.
2 Gandalfs in our same chat would be
That'd be
pretty
cool.
awesome.
Yeah, there we go.
2 Gandalfs, a
We'd have a
Hoodoo, and a
Gandalf off.
I'll probably do. Maybe I'll do a
And the other
Vulcan.
problem is when you're, you got the bald shit going on here, and it's the David Crosby effect where you got all this hair and then the whole top is this slick bald. That's a stupid look, or the Peter Boyle look.
That's what I get.
Yeah.
Well, no, because
Yeah.
that's why you buzz it, because if you let the hair on the sides of your head
Oh
grow
yeah.
out like fucking Larry Fine, that would look stupid.
Okay, the thing is, when you're like me, you're like that. You have bald head and you have long hair. You can't make it look like you've got a full head of hair. You just comb that shit back and let it look like it's supposed to look like. You can't do like David Crosby where his is all bushy, like we're supposed to think he's got a thick head of hair. No, you just comb it down, comb the shit back.
Didn't you see a picture of me when I did Brigadoon last year or year
No.
before? I had let my hair grow out and the beard grow long for that.
yeah, you look like Larry Fine.
No, it didn't puff out like I thought it would. They really looked
Is
good.
that
Yeah. I mean, there's a way of making it look good, and there's a way of making it look stupid. But yeah, I mean, right now, if my beard doesn't get
It's a very fine line between brilliant and stupid.
is that still Cary Grant?
He's
You'll
going
notice
to
he's
going to take his problems to the United Nations.
Oh, yay.
Oh, you see
And
what?
that building is the cheapest constructed piece of shit ever. They would love to tear it down.
Where's that building
No,
actually at?
It looks like
That's the United Nations building in New York City.
Oh, is that the actual building there?
about.
Well, I don't know. That might be a set that they're in now.
okay.
The exteriors are from that. But it was totally slapped together back then.
You know,
Lisa said she's gonna get an 80s.
They use a magic bus to get there.
You see what
Lisa's
time it
gonna-
is?
Yeah, Lisa's going to get an 80s style cut shoulder length mullet. I added the mullet.
But Steve, we started late.
Oh,
Yeah, we
I
did.
think. I don't know. I mean, I'm fine with it. I don't know if you want to.
it says
I can
we
go a few more minutes.
says we've been on for
The problem is I'm out in the West Coast, so it's still daylight out here.
3 hours
Yeah,
and 2
we-
minutes.
Well, we don't want this to time out and something. I don't know how long it can go.
No, YouTube doesn't do that. I don't think.
All right. I want to be able to save this thing somehow.
It's
Oh,
almost.
YouTube's easy. YouTube's easy. I use. Hey there. I use. I'm gonna look at it here, and
They usually have a download button, but it probably take forever.
Well, I'll download it if I can. I definitely don't want to
I use
lose.
something called 4K video downloader.
Do you have it?
Yep.
Can you, when we sign off, can you do that right away, just in case?
Oh sure.
Thanks.
Yeah, there's a download button on YouTube, but you have to buy YouTube Premium to be able to use it.
I got premium.
You piece of shit.
I just can't sit through advertisements. That's why I got it.
Oh, I see. Yeah, but I just use the downloader and I just put the.
I usually get a download button. It's like sometimes I get a download button and sometimes I don't.
But you click on it,
YouTube.
it'll say, "Oh, would you like that? Would you like to upgrade to YouTube Purple or whatever the fuck it's called?"
No, I've been able to download YouTube videos just with the button. It just depends on the video.
Yeah.
Sometimes they don't have the option.
Yeah. But it is my bedtime, so
It is.
yeah.
Well, all right. Well, if you're still listening, Gotschut,
He's
best of
going
luck.
to sleep. They just gave him some knockout medicine, and he's going to keep us posted.
That's good.
God's shot had a heart issue. He's in the ER. So yeah, he's gonna keep. Just told me he's gonna keep us posted and all that kind of stuff.
I just saw Ghost Leia behind you, like Mary Poppins floating out in
that was
space.
pretty cool.
Yeah, that's the ghost that lives here.
Well, that's like Princess Leia floating through space.
That's what I just said.
You said, I thought you said Mary Poppins.
I said Ghost Leia is behind you,
Oh,
floating in
I heard
space
somebody
like
say
Mary
Mary
Poppins.
Poppins. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know,
see, here's what. Look at him here. If somebody stabs somebody to death in front of you, don't go and grab the damn knife.
Oh, yeah, your fingerprints
That's
are all
kind
over
of dumb,
it.
isn't it?
Yeah, just leave it alone. You're not going to save the dude. In fact, it's probably better to leave the knife in place just so hi there. Just stupid shit movies. Like when somebody gets hit by a car, you don't pick them up and toss them around and play fucking keep away with them.
Well, that was back in the 80s. That's how you did it. That's how you did it. You ever seen that footage of that Japanese dude who kills that politician with the samurai
Oh,
sword?
that's priceless, man.
That was awesome.
Yeah, he was some communist. The dude speaking. The guy, the sword goes like 15 feet right through him.
Wait,
Yeah.
is this a real video or what?
Yes.
Yeah, it faces of
Yeah.
death in Japan.
Some communist was giving a speech, and this Japanese guy comes running up, and he hasn't got the long katana. He's got the wakizashi, the shorter katana, and he just comes up and he's holding it like kind of with both hands down by his side, and he runs up right to the guy and just perfect form, just impales
it
the
just
guy.
goes whoosh, right.
I hope that's not on YouTube.
Oh,
Yeah,
hell
it's
yeah.
on YouTube.
Lots of YouTube.
Oh, wow.
We love it. The guy deserves
Not
it.
gory footage because it's black and white. It's not like blood goes everywhere.
Oh,
He
okay.
zaps the guy, and the guy goes down, and
Yeah.
I mean he
So
kills
anyway,
him. He kills him in a decent Japanese fashion, which is nice.
Well, listen, fellas.
Thanks for hanging out, everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We normally do this on Facebook, but you know.
Well, we'll
technical
try and get it
reasons.
working for next week.
And we're on the
Well,
wrong
just see
we're on the
what
wrong
it'll
channel. You're on the wrong channel.
Yeah.
You need to be on Babblegab channel on YouTube is where we usually supposed to do.
yeah, we got to
this.
figure out how to work that.
Yeah, this was special.
Well, this ain't the wrong channel. It's just my Steve Jarrett page.
Which is the wrong channel.
Well, that's true, too, I guess. You look
The
at
wrong channel.
We do
Wrong.
a show called The Wrong Channel too. You can find
Yeah.
that on Spotify and different places.
Yeah.
I'm going to fire up OBS right now. I bet that son of a bitch starts working now.
You're working perfectly right now.
Oh,
Yeah.
Piece of shit.
All right, well, tell me when you want me to end this stuff.
Well, take care, everybody. Love you. Bye. God bless.
Have a good
Praying
day.
for you. God shot.
Yeah, God shot, get well.
Yeah, get well, gotcha.
Best wishes, brother.
Thanks for hanging out, Lisa. Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.